Yo, yo, yo. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Can you guys hear a big buzz in the background?
Not me.
Yeah.
What about now? Is there a big buzz in the background?
Nope.
Hmm.
Jamie Odell Art says no.
How's
Is that your
the-
AC?
What about the audio? Can you guys say some stuff? Sean, Courtney,
Hello.
don't be shy.
We're back.
How's the audio? Audio
guys.
check with chat. Sounds good. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Am I talking at a decent volume, or do I need to turn it up a little bit?
this is the old setup. This is the one that works really well.
This is the old setup back in LA. So, all right. Well,
It's been a while.
it's been a month. Been off for a month. So,
Did anyone get
wow.
married or have kids while we were gone?
Right?
well, Sean, your kid's off to is your kid off to college yet?
In a couple of weeks, I got to take him all the way there and drive him.
In a couple of weeks. When does school start? School already started out here. Well, school
Yeah,
starts
It
Friday.
doesn't start on
Monday.
not for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean he has a little bit more time. Right now he's in Utah for some sort of crypto event.
Okay.
Crypto.
Yeah, hackathon kind of thing for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Hmm.
By himself?
Yeah, well, I mean, like he's going with friends and he's like meeting a lot of like tech people. So I was kind of on the fence about letting him go, but he really wanted to go. All right, so you don't do art anymore, but this is your new jam. So
All right. Well, crypto, I guess, is the one of the ways to make money in the future.
Is he 18 yet?
no,
Oh, okay.
I don't know how he got into this thing. I think they accepted him, but I don't know if he had to lie about his age or something. He's the youngest kid there, and everyone else is around him. Like they're all smoking pot and doing ketamine and all sorts of
Ooh.
mushrooms.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
it's one of those crypto things where they do that. When I was in NFTs, everyone was doing that. So he's there, no doubt, doing that. So I warned him to watch out.
Well, we'll see if he comes back with a drug problem.
What to do, I don't know.
How does your kid feel about AI?
No, I mean, he doesn't really. He's only worried like he has to figure out what course of action of study he's going to go to, and then no one really knows because it's so everything's in a state of flux now. So there's a good chance that whatever he devotes himself to for the next 4 years, it's going to be obsolete by the time he graduates. So I'm just going to work on building that brain for whatever comes down the pike, and hopefully they'll still need brains in
They
4
won't
years.
need any more brains, Sean. That's the whole thing. Imagine if somebody were to create a super serum, a steroid, to allow everybody to jump, lift, run, basically have the fountain of youth, to do anything they wanted with their body. That's what AI is. It's a brain. It's a brain replacement.
We're going down this doom and gloom
Yeah.
already. It's so
This is a
soon.
big topic.
Jesus.
Every week until the doom and gloom comes, which is like two years. So, 1.5.
Dude, they're
2
already
years.
locking down DC. We're fucked anyways.
And then the aliens are
What do
gonna
you mean?
come soon.
I'm ready for that. I'm very ready for aliens.
But the way you should look at it is, if anyone's going to be kind of semi-insulated from it, it's us that create art. Commercial art is screwed, but then the people who collect original art and commissions, they're not going to accept AI. So there'll be a part of what we do that's still viable, or does most people, all their jobs are gone, every single aspect of it.
Well, Sean,
So-
Sean, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Sean. if everybody's going to be out of work, who's going to have money to buy art?
Well, the thing is, there are going to be a lot of people out of work, but the amount of money out there is not going to change. It's going to be concentrated in fewer people. So
It's already that way. What do you mean?
Yeah. And comics are such a niche thing that where only the hardcore fans are either reading or buying this stuff. So I mean, the thing is, it gives a little bit more time, but it's if we're screwed, we're all screwed. But remember how when we had COVID, the government gave us all checks? That's what I'm hoping for. If we're all screwed, the government's like, here, just take this
You're
income.
talking about? Did you guys watch the clip that I sent you on the thread?
Was this the one with Dyer CEO?
Yeah.
Or okay, well, listen, I didn't want to get into this early, but there's some serious. I mean, if you look at that, I mean, that guy seems very reputable. His guests seem very reputable, but they're still both kind of scammy, and it's hard to believe that guy from Dyer CEO is scammy. But if you watch I've been watching him for a while, and if you were to rate him on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of like clickbait, fear mongering, all that stuff, he's like near the top. So he profits from scaring people, and so does his guest. And if you watch it, you can see lots of signs of that. So what they say is mostly true, probably could be all the way true, but they also have, they're both incentivized to pump it up because, I mean, not too long after that episode, he did one with Rebel Wilson, and she wrote a book, and then he's going to have her on the show. No one's going to watch that show because Rebel Wilson, she's like a C-list star. So the thumbnail for that was called "The Truth About Sacha Baron Cohen," and then I don't think there was any mention of Rebel Wilson. So if you watch it, it's all about Rebel Wilson's book. And then where do you think they put in the part about Sacha Baron Cohen? Like in the beginning, middle, or the very end? And when you do get to it, it's 5 minutes of just talking about how they can't talk about it because it's all redacted. So that was complete clickbait. So the guy he seems very earnest and very trustworthy, but he needs clicks. And there's ways to do it, and scaring the shit out of you is a way to do it, because when you watch it, did you pass it on to other people? Because that's what he wants. So you take that with a grain of salt. It is bad for sure, but it's not as bad as both of them.
I thought his.
If you want to talk about the guest,
yeah.
Well, look, listen, that guest he had on, he was a teacher, wasn't making that much money. Then he realized he had a son that has special needs, maybe autism. He has to take care of that kid from cradle to grave. So he tried other jobs, and Google hired him. So he says, well, I'm going to develop AI for you for lots of money. And he did. And then he successfully took care of his kid from cradle to grave by basically creating AI, helping to create AI. And then he realized that his other kids are fucked too because they don't have careers now because of AI. So then he goes even deeper on it and goes on, he quits and he does the apology tour, which is very lucrative also, which also relies on scaring you and apologizing for the stuff he did. So now with all that together, he's successfully taken care of all of his children from cradle to grave just by screwing us all over. So those guys, they need money. This is how they do it. They scare you. Some of the stuff, I'm sure most of it is true, but if it wasn't true, they're going to scare the shit out of you and tell you it's true. So you got to take that with a grain of salt also, because you did share it with a lot of people probably. I shared it and I watched the whole thing. So it's working.
What did you share?
The YouTube link
What's been shared?
The YouTube link to the AI discussion with the former Google X CBO or chief operating
Right.
or chief business.
Did he not? Did he not admit that he had a kid with special needs that he had to take care of? So he took a job at Google.
I don't recall that being in that specific interview, but I found that interview, which was the second or one of many, but the most recent one, that he was trying to paint a although the title card was a very kind of apocalyptic thing, like the end of the world in 15 years.
Yeah, so very
But the
quickly.
guy was trying to say it in a way that was not as apocalyptic, right? However, what he did
Yeah,
say,
it's still bad for sure. Yeah.
what he did say, if you really do listen to it, is that there's going to be massive unemployment, and so he asked the host, what does his girlfriend do, right? Because the host is like, well, what kind of jobs are going to be available after this AI takeover? And he said, well, what does your girlfriend do? And he said his girlfriend, the host's girlfriend, runs a Pilates studio, right? She's like she's an entrepreneur, and she runs a small business. So in some ways, like maybe that's somewhat shielded from AI, but the answer to that was, okay, well, who's going to take Pilates, right? Usually it's upper middle class people that have expendable income to take $30, $40, $50 a class, Pilates class. Well, when most of those people are going to be out of work, how are they going to afford a Pilates class, to go to a Pilates class, right? And then if you're talking about universal basic income or the government handouts,
yes, that's what we need.
Right, but that was also in the discussion, in that the universal basic income is going to be set at a certain price, right, to get by, to cover your basic needs. But how much is universal basic income? It's not meant to provide luxuries for you. It's meant to cover your basic necessities, like rent and food and maybe some transportation or whatever it is. All of these extracurricular activities, people are going to have to find another source of income or some source of, funds to be able to pay for it. So all of these extra things, a Pilates class, because the argument is like, oh, well, AI is going to allow everyone to explore their hobbies. You're going to be able to read a book because you don't have to go to work anymore. A computer will do it for you. You don't have to do all these things. You're going to have time to take up a hobby, take up a musical instrument, something that you didn't have time before, have more time to spend with your family. And it sounds nice. So to me, the people that are saying that, those are the charlatans, because that sounds nice. Oh, wow, I want to have time to take up another hobby. Well, how are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to buy food? How are you going to provide? You get sick. What are you going to do? Are we in a government right now that is going to provide those services for us in 2 or 3 years, 4 years? I mean, that's the real question that you got to ask. Are we in a situation where the government gave us $1,500 during COVID, 2 $1,500 checks, $3,000, right? Am I correct? Or I think it was it was $750. How much did the U.S. give out during COVID?
Well, if you weren't going to work, those checks just keep coming.
No. They only gave everybody 2 checks during COVID. How much was each check?
I know one was.
I got like 10,000.
You got 10,000.
You got,
I'm kidding.
you got a PPP loan. How much was the stimulus check?
PPP loans.
Yeah.
How much was the stimulus check?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know
but
one was 1,500.
Wasn't it 10,000, guys? Didn't you guys get 10,000?
No, nobody got. I mean, if you took out a PPP loan, yeah. But right now, the government that we have is is taking away social services. So, it's what is. I mean,
But I mean, we also have unprecedented wealth out there at this moment. 1 out of 10 people are a millionaire. So you take the number of people in this chat, divide by 10, and that's how many millionaires are in this room alone.
who's a
So yeah, it does.
millionaire?
It
in
is
this-
eventually going to affect.
Someone's a millionaire in this chat. I know some. I know.
Well,
I
maybe
know.
not
I
this
know
chat,
who the
but when you-
millionaire is in this chat.
When you just walk around outside and you pass 10 people, one of those are a millionaire. Every time you pass 10 people, that's the statistic. It just happened in the past 10 years.
Yeah, statistics overall. If you're in the city, you think people in rural America?
Well, I don't know. Maybe
Technically,
Well, yeah.
are you a millionaire if you own a house that is worth $1 million?
that's so. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
San Diego, you can get a condo. It's $1 million at this point. So if you own that, or if you're in the pay mortgage on it, technically, are you a millionaire? It's hard to say. I don't think everybody has
Yeah, depending on
$1
how you
million
define it,
Yeah, I don't. They don't have $1 million or more than $1 million just sitting in their bank. Just
Yeah, I mean, I have 10, right?
10 million. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, who just has $1 million? That's ridiculous.
I mean, my home lost $100,000 in value this year so far.
Why is that? From the because it's location or something, or what?
No, I don't think so.
It's just real estate. Real estate in Los
Softening
Angeles.
market.
Well,
Oh
it
boy!
depends on
You
the
remember this
area.
used to be a drawing channel?
It used to be.
I remember.
So how was everybody's summer? Let me say hello. Let me say hello to chat. Way High's here. We got to do a San Diego recap, and then I have another idea for like a sketch battle. We've been doing a sketch battle online, and we've been doing characters, right? Like random top characters. I was thinking we should also expand that to categories like random things, like draw a Toyota Corolla or
Objects. Yeah.
yeah, objects, like draw a Mies van der Rohe Ames chair, or draw a Sony Sony headphones or Apple iPod, so everyday common things. That way it kind of levels the ground a little bit, but also I think could be interesting. Because
That's a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of art challenges out there, so this one is definitely something different.
yeah, and this is something I think will help you, like if you're drawing comics, because as a comic book artist, you have to draw everything, right? So you have to store up a battery of items in your brain so that you can, when you're drawing, you can quickly sketch it and draw it out without constantly having to look for reference. So it could be something that would be interesting to do. So, and then anybody can play, right? Because I don't know. So I don't know. What do you think? And then Jamie Odell's here. James Quo's here. There's James Quo. Lurky Lurk all the way up in Canada. We have on stream today. We have Courtney. Hello, Courtney.
Hey.
We have
Hello.
Sean. Hello, Sean. And we have
I'm here.
Jerry's here too.
Yes.
Jerry, birthday boy.
Happy
Birthday
birthday.
celebrate. Birthday going for the second week or something.
Jerry's
God, I'm
50
so
years
exhausted
old in
on
one
birthday.
day. How did
Yeah.
you feel? Did you
He's
have a
special
difficult
like
time
that.
getting out of bed, Jerry, today?
Yes, I did.
Bubba.
Kevin P. West is here. K-pop Junkie. Good to see K-pop Junkie.
Hey,
Man,
K-pop.
K-pop Junkie is streaming a lot. She's like interviewing a bunch of people on YouTube's.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys go give her a follow. Kevin P. West. Football season's coming up. I got a fantasy football draft in a couple of weeks. Jerry, when's our draft?
I forgot. I already texted you guys that. It's the week of the week one. Give me a second.
Is it? Is it? It
It's
better
up
not be
to-
on a Tuesday night because that's when we're streaming. That's my other draft night too.
It's Wednesday, September
Wednesday.
3rd.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's see. A lot of storms in the Midwest. Hope you guys are staying dry. There's another point too. Looky alert. Government doesn't give money. Government redistributes money. If there's nobody to tax, then there's no money to spread around. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
It needs to trickle down to us. Come on, trickle down.
Oh, right. That really works.
Yeah, they also give out tons of relief to companies. So I mean, that's the other thing is the other thing I got out of that YouTube link, and I think I posted on the Discord. So if you guys are watching this and you want to give it a look over, there's this race, and I'll stop talking about AI in like 2 or 3 minutes, and there's this race to come up with the first super intelligent, super artificial, super AI, right? The one that's going to be able to basically think on its own. And whichever country is able to do that, whether it's the United States or China, then that's going to lead to ultimately kind of controlling the world. And the thing is, like, there's certain players in mind. For me, from my perspective, we're putting a lot of trust in the hands, aside from that race to super intelligence. We're putting a lot of trust in the hands of these tech people. These
Didn't they watch Terminator?
tech investors,
Or the Matrix.
corporations, it's very different. Like, I think their mindset is very different than you and I.
They're psychopaths.
Because we're
They have
creatives,
shareholder value.
right? We're creatives. We make $1 from drawing something and then selling that. Whereas, I think tech investments or investments in general or companies, they make money from like thin air or from other people. And there's a different kind of sense. So, like, I'm in this group where there's been a lot of discussion about AI because the group is a lot of tech people and a lot of artists. And almost all the artists are against AI. Almost all the tech people are for AI. And this AI, I'm only talking mainly about its creative applications. I know that there's good from AI. I'm not saying all AI is bad. How are we on that 2 or 3 minutes on the AI? Am I like,
You're past it.
I'm past it already? Shit.
You're past it.
Anyways. I also, the last thing is, I tend to think like a lot of people that have very positive. So going back to that YouTube discussion, Sean, with the host, my feeling was that the host, Steve, he was trying to ask questions to get to elicit a positive response from the interviewee, because he himself was heavily invested in developing AI. He himself is heavily into doing all of these AI ventures. So he wants someone to tell him that there's good at the end of the rainbow.
And there's not.
But it's
There's just not.
but like the interviewee guy said, it's a brain replacement. So whereas robotics was
Yeah,
a muscle
bottom line is,
replacement.
yeah, I mean, we've had tools since the dawn of time, millions of tools throughout. As soon as man picked up a stick, this is the first tool that's different from everything that came before it. And that's what people have to understand. It is different in that it takes away jobs and doesn't create an industry somewhere else that hires more people. It just takes.
There's nothing.
So that's the
yeah,
big danger.
That's yeah. That's. I'm glad you're saying that right now, Sean. I can go back a few months ago. You weren't saying that. But
Well, I mean, there was, because throughout history, every tool has led to an improvement. But it doesn't mean that every single one does. This is the first one that doesn't. So
this is developing a completely new sentient entity that is smarter. Last thing, the guy that said a great thing, I really remember. You know, like if right now AI can improve, take your IQ from like let's say 100 to 150, add 50 points, 30, 50 points, and then maybe it takes it to 200 where you're at 100, right? And it kind of levels the playing field. You know, you can have a dummy that uses AI versus a really smart person that doesn't use it. You know, it equalizes the playing field. But then when AI, super intelligent AI, really gets developed, and now you're talking about like 1,000 IQ or 2,000 IQ. That 40, 50, 30, 50 IQ difference doesn't matter anymore. You know, it's not. There's
If
no.
they're that smart, they're not going to work for us anymore anyway. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah. And okay.
If-
Anyways, let's talk about
We're
drawing.
going to get to that.
How was everybody's summer? That was my summer. That was my summer.
it's summer of
Being
doom and gloom.
scared of,
My summer
AI.
was stuck in a room drawing, thinking about this the whole summer. But then,
Well,
towards
it'd be worse if we had kids because we're almost done, right? I mean, we're almost done with this stuff, but
Yeah,
the next
almost
generation and art in general is not in good shape.
well, you got kids that can they throw like a spear to protect the house from
Well,
raiding
plumbing
marauders?
is what. Yes,
Um,
it'll be fun. Yes.
whew.
Bernard, what are you drawing? You're going to give yourself a fucking heart attack freaking out about this.
Look, this is the thing. Like when you're an artist, and Sean or Jerry, you guys, you know, and even Courtney, when you're working, it's like when I'm drawing comics. After I do the layout phase, this is kind of layout phase. This is kind of like sketchy phase where I have to think, where I have to use my brain to think about stuff. But then when I get to the point where I'm actually just drawing the lines and then coloring or doing the line art, my brain checks out because then it just really becomes a technical application. I'm not using my brain to think anymore. I'm using my brain, but it's only the control muscle. So then the other part of my brain, the thinking part, is like, well, what are we going to do? What can we think about?
Terrible things.
And then so we start thinking about all these
Yes,
things, right? About life, about work, about, you know,
How fucked we are.
things. And then so unless like I plug into like music or some kind of show or podcast or audiobook or
Well,
something
that's what I do.
to basically stop me from thinking about all of these things. It's you know, you can go down a rabbit hole very quickly. So I don't know.
What if Fletch is here?
Hold on here.
Speaking of rabbit hole,
I heard about going down. What?
How's
Hi.
your flight back?
I just woke up.
oh wow,
I came back and I took I didn't sleep last night because my flight was at 6 o'clock in the morning, New York time. So my brother picked me up to take me to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30.
Oof.
Oh, I couldn't sleep, so I fell asleep a little bit for a couple hours on the plane, and then but then when I got home here, I just crashed, totally wiped out. So I woke up.
I was gonna.
But how's everybody doing?
Don't ask us how we're doing.
I'm wiped. What are you gonna say?
Aren't we all? No.
You guys are so dark.
Fletch, I heard you have a meeting tomorrow, right? A lunch meeting? Oh, maybe
I
not.
do.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what's the
Yeah,
lunch
well.
meeting?
Yeah, are you allowed to say? I don't know.
I don't know what it is. But Carl wants to talk, so I'm like, all right. So there's Carl.
Yeah, well, it's New York Comic Con, so New York Comic Con is going to be huge for. I mean, I usually just sit in that art area, and then do not much of anything. But now I got like a lot of stuff to do because we're about to launch in October. So
That's good.
so that's what that's about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just like, oh, I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, yeah, like, put some time on the calendar. So we're gonna talk tomorrow. So
But what do you mean by
Yeah.
launch? I thought you guys are already live.
Huh?
Ready? What?
Isn't your company already live?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're talking about the second half of Evermind and actually launching the entire like trade
Oh,
paperback
I see.
all together. So it's basically a big push to have the entire thing bound in one volume, and then Sir Daniel Wu would be involved too. So
He's saying
Everyone try-
basically
try to
Daniel
make it
Wu's
out
going to
there.
be in New York Comic Con, right? Is that what you're saying? That's you heard it here first.
yes. Yes. Yeah, that's supposed to be a secret, but what the hell? I mean, there's not many people here,
Wow.
right?
you breaking news right now? You spilling some tea?
Yeah, it's spilling some tea.
And
So yeah, it's going to be big. So everyone, get your asses to New York, Courtney as well, because we
I
can
wanna
use the
come.
help. Yeah, you
Down.
can stay here. You have your place here, so you're all set.
if you want to go, you
Nice.
have to sweet talk Fletch. What's the password, Fletch?
I always try to.
Or Carl.
Does Fletch have a password like in Babe, like Ba Ram you?
Skynet is live. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
Fletch
Kid
hasn't
is
said
here.
no to me yet.
So, who went to Comic Con? You guys want to give a quick Comic Con overview? San Diego.
I did. Fletch did. Fletch? Fletch
Yeah.
was so busy.
I was running around like a madman, but it was good to see. I saw a few. Well, I saw Courtney,
Barely.
but a couple of clients on the floor had Comixology came back to Comic Con with a booth, had a 10x20 booth, and Ghost Machine had a booth there. It was mostly a selling booth. They sold some stuff. It was as busy as ever, I think. The foot traffic seemed to be there. Friday, Saturday, Sunday was packed. Artist Alley, every time I went out to Artist Alley, huge crowds in Artist Alley. It was the first time. Well, I had to go down to Hall A. I had a couple of meetings, but it was the first time I went Hall, end to end from A to H, and it was crazy. The amount of people, the amount of activities that were going on. Even the gas lamp was packed. I thought so. That's just my perspective. I was able to go through a couple of panels because I moderated a panel, and but everything seemed.
Did your legs hold up? Because last time you did a show, you said that you were, for the first time, you felt a little tired.
Yeah, no, my legs. Thanks for asking, Sean. Legs.
I can't imagine like a convention without Fletch, running everything. And then I was like, oh, does Fletch have to slow down? I mean, what is this world coming to?
No, I alternated between sneakers. My Hokas and my Adidas sneakers. It was good.
Hall A to Hall H and back to Hall A again and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
You might want to look into getting some insoles. So because it's not just
whatever it takes, Fletch. Whatever it takes, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
the insoles are about
Yeah, the most
$100.
important guy.
So
Yeah.
like a carbon fiber insole, which will give you, they're a little bit more stiff, but it'll give you some energy return.
Yeah.
Along with the shoe, and then like depending on how old your shoes are, If they're over a few years old, the cushion system might not be as effective as it was when it was new, because it does deteriorate over time.
Heelys.
Certain
Like your Lurker said, you
cushion
need
systems.
Heelys.
So
Yeah.
Heelys? I want Heelys. Oh God, I'm gonna get a pair.
There's a new brand called new insole brand.
Incel.
Insole. That I was looking to get pretty good.
called what?
You know, besides
Incel?
my no,
He wants to get an incel?
no, insoles called STEPPRS steppers.
Okay.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
I use one called Move, MOVE, and they have they have insoles for basketball and running. So
Mm. Yeah.
Well, we need another decade out of you, Fletch. So stay
I
in
mean,
the game.
Fletch, what's the thinking with switching the shoes?
I like to alternate, you know, the different shoes, different day, every other day to switch it up. Because one day, at the end of the day, because I'm on my feet starting at like 7 a.m. and all the way till, you know, 10, 11 p.m. And, you know, there's a little bit of funk you get, you know, from wearing your shoes all day.
Oh,
So
smell,
I
what?
like to air it out, but in between.
Do you wear compression socks?
No.
You should probably wear some compression socks as well, because
Too tight.
that will help.
That's the point.
Too compressed.
Okay, I mean,
Restrict.
the point is, or you know, they have. If you don't get the full socks, they do have just calves. I know you got big calves; they're like thighs. But it would help with the circulation, and also at night after the show. Do you ice down your knees and your ankle, or your feet?
No.
So
Shower.
that's the other thing is at the end of the night you should probably ice down your joints. It'll cut down on the inflammation, and so like the next day you'll be a little bit more refreshed, as opposed to. It's just like, look, if you know, you're basically like an athlete right now. You might not be running.
4-day shows.
You're for during the shows. You're like an athlete because you're standing around for 10, 12 hours. So you're using your legs, and there's compression. I mean, you know, the weight on your knees. And I know I feel that too at the shows. So it's just like if
And you're sitting.
after I play basketball, I ice down. I have to ice down my knees. If I ice down my knees after I play, the next day I'm fine. If I don't, the next day I'm walking around kind of stiff. And then the other thing is maybe take a couple of ibuprofen, some aspirin. Yeah. It'll help thin out the blood a little bit.
We'll get you an assistant.
My legs were okay. Just my feet, my right toe was, you know, I don't know, because of the type of shoe I was wearing was you know, was giving me some issues. But showered up, woke up, and just okay.
So good to have Fletch's Wi-Fi
Fletch is back. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Fletch is back.
back.
Fletch with the Trump Mobile. How's the Trump Mobile plan working out for you, Fletch?
Oh, it made my my phone system great again. What are you talking about? It's you guys that don't have it that, you know, I'm not compatible with.
Carson McKinney, thank you for the resub. 49 months, Carson. Carson just graduated from SCAD. Is Carson going to be at? He'll be at New York.
You're a man now.
Carson started SCAD and then graduated, or he started at SVA, then he went to SCAD, and now he graduated. All within the parameters of this stream. I feel like a dad almost.
That's great.
He was the get back
Uh,
coach, because he was the youngest guy on stream.
Right.
Um,
And now he's Fletch's assistant.
yeah,
Ice
Fletch.
boy.
Are you going to be hiring people for the show?
Ice boy.
I got some people you might want to hire.
We'll talk after.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, that was my perspective from San Diego. Had a great day on Saturday with the Svengoolie crowd. Did a full day of press with them, the press room at the Hilton, and then at night they had a signing at 5:30, and then a panel at 7:30. It was packed. The room was packed. It was 500 people. Yeah, 7:30 to 8:30. Yeah, and then Saturday night was busy.
The state of the industry is good.
It seems strong, a lot of people were talking about how the media companies weren't there. There was no big Marvel presence. Warner only had a couple of movies. DC was there presenting Peacemaker. But the fact of the matter is that San Diego Comic Con is always sold out, and it's always but so the people that were there seemed pretty excited. The artists I was talking to in Artist Alley and some of the retailers on the floor said they were doing well, sales wise. Yeah, so from my perspective, everything seems doing good. It's not better than last year, but then again, there's the state of the industry itself is there seems to be consumer spending seems down, but at San Diego there was a lot of excitement. In the morning, there's always people running to get exclusives and everything. One of the cool things of the Tron record exclusive 9 Inch Nails exclusive, they're running to get.
Okay, I got a question. I got a question for Fletch. So,
Here we go.
in comparison to San Diego and New York Comic Con, right? New York Comic Con, the Artist Alley is its own kind of beast. It's its own section of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and every table that's there is an Artist Alley table. Curated by the convention. The Artist Alley in San Diego is different because while there is a technically an Artist Alley space, and mind you, each artist table is 4 feet. They have an 8-foot table, split that in half, or is that a 6-foot table split in half to 3 feet? I forgot which it was. But you don't get a full table in San Diego. It used to be free, but I think it's $350 now for that. And so there's a small kind of quote-unquote Artist Alley table, but there's also a larger kind of exhibitor. It's technically, I think those are technically exhibitor booths, but they're rented out by either artists, group of artists, or art dealers. So, what is the percentage of that, in terms of if you were going to set up in San Diego, right? And, did the San Diego, technically San Diego Artist Alley have also those comic sketch art rows of artists, or were those pushed out to say, hey, you got to get a booth?
Nobody was pushed out. Like a few years ago, our artists themselves felt like because I think the tables were smaller. So instead of instead of an 8-foot table, instead of a half an 8-foot table, which is 4 feet, they would it was getting 3. They were getting 3 feet, so it was getting smaller and smaller. Their spaces.
Yeah.
So a number of big artists were decided to, we want a bigger space. We want to highlight our stuff. So they decided to buy booth space and get a little bit more of a bigger presence. And the bigger guys like Comic Sketch Art or Essential Sequential or Scott's Collectibles, they decided to do that and to get space near Artist Alley, and really kind of pushed everybody doing that as well. So a lot of the bigger names will get their own booths because they could justify it. Like, all right, this booth costs X amount of dollars, usually about $3 or $4 grand for a 10 by 10. But they could justify it because they could sell other things, prints, original art. So yeah, I mean, nobody was pushed out, but it's more of a necessity for their comfort. So
I wouldn't say pushed
I
out.
think
I said pushed out meaning like because like
well,
comics.
Huh? You did that too when you did the Boulevard. You felt like you had a little more space. You have a little group. You had a group of artists, and you wanted a little more highlight that comes out of having your own booth rather than sharing space in Artist Alley where you kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But yeah, years ago, they used to give out free spaces, but both San Diego and New York now, I think they charge for their Artist Alley tables. Back then, when Clydeen was handling.
Yeah, New York is they comp certain tables. Like last year, my table was comped. But then sometimes they make you pay for it as well. So like, I think 3 years, two years ago, I had to pay for a table.
Unless you're a guest show, they don't really comp tables that much anymore. Or unless you have a deal with the show, like if you bring in a group of artists, they might comp you a few tables in exchange for programming, exchange for or an exclusive cover or drawing the con guide or the official image of the show. But yeah, they're not the hard comp anymore.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in the Artist Alley in San Diego, in the official Artist Alley in San Diego, was there rows of comic sketch art artists, or were those artists kind of have migrated to their own booths?
Yeah, I can't speak for what Comic Sketch Art did or does. I know that they had.
I'm just using them as an example, but
yeah, they were given a certain number of tables, and they had more artists that wanted to go to San Diego than they were given tables for. So I'm sure that's what precipitated them to want to get a bigger space as well and get their own space. That way, they could control how many people could be at their booth, artist-wise, and they still, even though they have their Comic Sketch Art island almost, they still do have some spaces in Artist Alley as well.
Oh, okay. That's my question.
That's not fair.
Like Creed.
Yeah, to me that's not really fair. I mean, like I get it in New York, and in New York, it's become kind of like where you go down and like some art reps have like 2 complete rows of artists, right? Which it makes it easier, I guess, for the organizer to they don't have to filter through everybody, but at the same time, I think for independent artists who aren't represented,
for Jerry,
it becomes.
We're gonna see Jerry there.
Jerry might sit with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think I'll just walk the floor a little bit.
But you can get in at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have a pro pass.
So.
Sorry, I'm just coloring a page right now.
It's goddamn comic sketch art people.
And it's not just comic sketch art. I mean, there's others like Sequential Essential or other.
These comics art.
I just bring up comic sketch art because that was the guy that pissed in the sink.
That's right. That was awesome.
Golf Boy Sundays on stream. Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, I want to know what different perspective though from Courtney. Like she was there. On Saturday, right, or Friday? No, she got there
both days actually.
What do you think of the show, San Diego?
I think it's just as busy. I went with Will both days, so we hung out outside, which there's plenty to do. We went to a concert, the Crunchyroll concert. They were having some concert. They had like a DJ.
That was at the amphitheater, right?
Yeah. So it was like going all day long. So it was nice. There was like a lot of room, and most people were like inside the convention anyways. So got to like really good people watch. It's always fun to see people dance. So but it was really interesting. And I mean, yeah, you're right. They always sell out. It's always sold out. So there's a ton of people in Gaslamp, and I cramped up like the first 20 minutes. So my cardiologist told me to use compression socks to prevent pooling of the blood too. So that also helps. So I recommend them, even though I don't use them. So I don't get any like I still have bony ass feet, so I don't get any inflammation down there really. But anyways, yeah. And then that's about it on Friday. I saw some other people, some other friends like wandering around, and then I hit up Fletch before, and I was like, hey, just hope you have a good Comic-Con, because I knew he was probably in town, and I wasn't planning on going in. And then he's like, do you want a ticket? And I was just like, okay. So then I met up with Fletch in the hustle bustle downtown, and I saw him for a quick minute, and then I was like, Fletch, I'll catch you at your panel. I think I saw you Friday, and I was like, I'll catch you at your panel tomorrow at 12:30. And he was like, yeah. And then his panel was not at 12:30. he just wanted me to miss it. He was like, sure. He was like, sure, Courtney, 12:30. And for some reason, I had it in my mind. And then I realized that when I was like gonna head over, I was like, yeah, 12:30. Or no, I thought it was 2:30, and it was 12:30. I got it mixed, and I missed it.
No, it was.
So yeah, that was. So that's my story. And then yeah, and thank you, Fletch, again for the tickets. I was Dina. Wait,
Dina.
Don't give away my secrets
don't give
here,
it-
Courtney.
You were Courtney.
Yeah.
Courtney. Yeah. How many people
Yeah,
that
probably
were?
saying too much.
How many guests that were going? Attendees were first timers at San Diego.
I
you
don't
guys
think
say,
much. I feel like I don't think too many. A lot of families, a lot of, I mean, everybody maybe it seems like there's more people who are just more dedicated in like the comic book world, more super fans instead of people who are just like, I want to go for fun because of Marvel or whatever. So maybe it's hard to say for me, because I also I walked the hall up and down, and that was it. And
What
You're
about
gonna have your
what about the cosplay?
Was this the one with the big Galactus? Where was that big Galactus
Yeah, that was
guy?
this big
Giant.
Galactus.
I think I saw him. I saw there was a few big ones, but I was kind of surprised. But I think now most of the cosplay people probably, I don't know, they wait outside, and no, I feel like there was less cosplay this year.
No, there was a terrific amount of cosplay. I mean, I saw the Galactus guy came by the booth, walked by our booth a number of times. Thursday.
Wasn't the Galactus guy like an official Marvel thing?
I don't know if he was official.
Like, I don't know if I would count him as cosplay.
Well,
I think he's paid to be there.
professional. He's at least a professional cosplayer, right?
Yeah, retro cosplayer. I'm not there for Marvel or not, but yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, it definitely turned some heads. But there are a lot of people. You gotta love the people who are dedicated to to cosplay. But then again, when they wear the same costume every day for 3 or 4 days, like after the third day, it's like, all right.
Oh, that's what you saw. I feel like a lot of cosplayers change each day.
You need more than Febreze, it's like, all right, it's gotta, that thing's gotta be.
Ooh, that's rich.
I think there was a
There were some. There were some first there. I saw a few. They came by the booths, but for the most part, in the morning, those are the hardcore people. But they're there right in the beginning and waiting in line to get into the show, to get their exclusives and everything. And that there's the running of the one of my friends called the running of the nerds, but it's they pack the halls. There's a reason why the times for opening. I think it's 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m., 9:30, but the show floor actually opened up earlier at 9 a.m. because the crowd's too big outside. But they do alleviate the crowds outside, so by letting them outside. The old open up at 9 a.m. or earlier every day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'm mainly asking because there was a point in time where, going to Comic-Con was like a big to-do thing for, people all around the world, right? Oh, I gotta go to Comic-Con. I gotta go to Comic-Con. And, it was, there was also a lot of repeat people. So a lot of repeat locals. See the same people almost every year. And so it was very difficult for new people to get into San Diego. But then at one point, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, before the pandemic, there was a shift where they changed the lottery system so that it no longer favored people that lived in San Diego or who had gone the year before, but made it kind of a little bit more, fair for everybody. And so I think it was like 2019, I noticed that there was a lot less kind of your traditional diehard fans that would come every year, especially cosplayers. There were a lot less cosplayers. And I thought that was maybe attributed to new people that wanted to come experience this San Diego Comic-Con thing, had never been to a Comic-Con before. And I'm just curious, is there still that urge from the general public to come to San Diego or New York or any Comic-Con? Or has that kind of faded a little bit?
I think for San Diego Comic-Con, a lot of my friends that go or who are local, they go because if you don't purchase a ticket, and I ran into this too, then you're basically kind of thrown off. So if I think they still want you to purchase every year, else your chances of getting it another year is really, especially for the 4-day pass. I don't know if it's different, or maybe people just do because I know people who just I could only get a Saturday pass, or I could only get 1 day or 2 day passes. Right. So maybe the 4-day pass wasn't available to them. But the people who I know who go forward all 4 days every year, I feel like they just do that because if they don't purchase that year, then they're gonna be kicked off the list, and the chances of getting a 4 day is going to be a lot harder in the future. Yeah. At least that's kind of what I've seen as a local.
I definitely get that. I get that feeling. I mean, when we ran the Boulevard booth, there were a couple years where not everybody could go. And so there was one year, I think it was just Tommy and myself. I mean, Trevor went all the time because he was in LA, but and then Sean, it was the 1 year it was just Sean and myself, and then we had to get other people to sit in with us, like the South Park guys. But there was that.
It's a big expense.
it was a big expense. It was also a sense that if we didn't go, then the next year we wouldn't get our space back. I mean, if we wanted to skip a year, we would be basically put in the back of the line, regardless of tenureship. So, so there was kind of this urgency to like sign up again and pay. And back then we had a corner booth, so it was a little bit more expensive. I mean, there were a couple of years where we shared our space with Jerry. Those, I think, were probably the glory years of our.
Yeah, that was like pretty fun for everyone, I think, right?
Yeah, because we had. I mean, we tried to carve out our own little artist alley area in the exhibitor space. We were basically a couple aisles away from DC. And because at that point, back then, we felt like, well, all the action was kind of in the exhibitor area. And the artist alley space was, in some parts, kind of dead at times. So we felt like, we wanted to be in the middle of kind of where, all the Marvel and DC booths were, because that's what we did. And, I mean, Jerry had his Epic Props booth in the same area, with next to Giant Robot.
Giant Robot, yeah.
And so, Cliff, who else? Jill Thompson, a few other people had a booth across from
I think
us.
Raphael Albuquerque.
Oh yeah, he was there too.
Sorry,
Raphael
I can't pronounce his last
Albuquerque
name.
was across from us. And then
Yeah, he was such a nice guy. I remember the first time I met him, he just started giving me books. He's like, he's such a sweet guy.
And then one of those
Great
years,
guy, yeah.
Sean and I hosted. Well, was Sean there? I think it was just Trevor and I hosted the serial killer, not the serial killer, but the mass murderer, the murder.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. Blake was it Blake Libel?
Blake Lively, yeah.
Blake Lively?
Yeah. Hey, wish.
The blonde, yeah. No,
She'd probably kill somebody.
Blake Libel, Liebel.
Blake Label.
I don't know who that is.
He's in jail now. So, but we've talked about it before, but that's a horrible, salacious story. It's one of the darkest thing I've heard all year. And yeah, it's all
Thank you,
done.
Trevor.
Uh,
So-
But God, just talking about everything else. On the days where you could just buy a ticket, the NEO Comic, even New York. Well, New York, you can still buy tickets for separate days, but you can't really go up and to San Diego and buy a ticket the day of the show unless you buy it from Alpha or something. You really have to plan your event, so you have to plan ahead of time, at least 6 months. Like it has to be like I want to go to San Diego Comic Con, so you have to make sure you got on the list for hotel reservations. You make sure you got on the list for tickets when tickets become on sale again. So it's less of a spur of the moment thing. If you're a native of San Diego and want to check out a show for the first time, you really have to make plans. You just can't walk in there and expect to get a ticket. Even on the street itself, the Harbor Boulevard, right in front of San Diego Comic Con, the police officers there won't let you go. They should not be letting you get into that walkway to get up to the convention center unless you have a barcode or that says you're picking up a badge for the show. So they really it's a planned event. You can't really just walk up and say, "Hey, I just want to check this out."
I snuck in before I got my badge from you, Fletch. I had to come from behind the convention, and then I ran through because I was late meeting you.
Yes,
I
you
was
were.
like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Final
That's
question.
fine.
Final question about San Diego. Which one has the snobbiest security guards, San Diego or New York Comic Con?
Slavia?
No, snobbiest.
Snobby.
I always found that
Oh.
San Diego security guards, the people that are like stand at the doors
The
and all
security.
that stuff. Yeah, like the security.
Yeah, I mean,
They tend to be
Yeah,
more on a
they're-
power trip in San Diego than in New York.
it depends on which door you go through. Like I went through for the first couple of days, Thursday, Friday. I went through door, Hall A, show my exhibitor badge, at around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 in the morning, and they let me in. And then, like, on Saturday, it was like, oh, no, you got to walk down to Hall B. I'm like, what? Like, okay. So I kept on walking down. I walked down to Hall B. They told me, oh, yeah, you got to walk to Hall C. So, and then I went to Hall C, and they let me, they told me I had to go to walk to Hall D. But the very next entrance, I tried it again, and they let me in before Hall D. I'm like,
Jesus.
they're not being consistent, so everything is always, it's different. They're just not consistent in the messaging that they're being told. So I think New York guards are, they're also very inconsistent in the messaging too.
All right, we got like
Cool.
any other questions from chat? I mean, while Fletch still has a few minutes left on his plan.
I gotta head down. Actually, I'm meeting up with with Eddie. He's got a couple of things he picked up for me. So I'll be back. We'll head out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, enough drilling. Okay. What should we draw today? Been on for an hour. We talked about the apocalypse. We talked about San Diego.
Happy holidays, guys. I'll catch you in a bit.
Yeah.
Happy
See you,
holidays.
Fletch.
Fletch.
I mean, I
Happy
used
birthday,
to,
Jerry.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
I used to like.
There's only a couple more days to your birthday, right?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
wrap up soon, though, right? You got a couple more days left.
No more. Please, no more.
Sean's is next, and then there's mine.
Oh,
Wait,
boy.
Sean, when's your birthday?
The 15th.
Oh,
I don't celebrate.
It's coming up.
There's
jeez.
nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, there's something to celebrate. The rise of AI.
Yes. What's the point of birthdays anymore?
That's right. Friday.
I like
Friday
how
is
we're all
Sean's
getting
birthday.
our stage.
Do
It
you
is Friday.
guys wanna sing Sean happy birthday?
Oh no, please. I do not like that.
I don't like that either.
There is something that I saw that someone does this thing called Art Fight, which is I think there's a website, but it sounds a lot like what we do, except that there's rules and it's like a real battle, and that might be interesting to look at to see how that works. We could do our own art fight.
We can punch each other.
It's called artfight.com.
Yeah, I don't know the exact rules, but it sounds
Artfight.net.
exciting because it's a competition.
Can we? Is it work? Do they do it in teams? We draft. Can we draft James Quo?
We could. We could make our own rules with Art Fight.
All right. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
If we do Art Fight, there should be a lot of like trash talking and like heels, and then like the ladies that walk by with a number of cards and stuff.
Well, we did
We
do an
like a
art
real-
fight. I mean, I beat
art
up Koi Pham
Oh yeah, that's right.
a few years ago. I beat him up pretty badly. I mean, he hasn't been back.
Man.
You should have Mike Choi back on. Isn't he in the news a lot for
Mike
whatever
Choi
he
is
did?
having a very
This-
good, very hot topic discussion this week so far. Have you been
Well, I
watching
only
his?
saw one episode.
He got back from Boston Comic Con where a young artist went up to him to get a portfolio review. Mike was
And he did a Bernard Chang.
Mike gave him a very honest review. Every word that he
Yeah,
was
there's
saying.
your first mistake.
Yeah, and I felt it. I felt exactly. I was in simpatico with Mike. And then he gave the kid a review. He felt like the kid was being very defensive, was not hearing any of the stuff. Like he only wanted to hear good stuff. And Mike was giving him an honest, if you want to be a professional comic book artist, this is what you have to do. These are the mistakes that you're making. And then afterwards, the mother,
His mom. His
His
mom.
Oh
mom.
my
the
god.
kid's mom,
No.
emailed or texted
His mom.
Mike and said you were both rude and condescending to my son, and he didn't.
And the
Yeah,
guy
but
like,
Mike didn't have to
Mom.
give the portfolio review.
and
You
here's
know,
the
he was doing the favor by giving him the review.
wait. Here's the kicker. The kid. Guess how old the kid was.
Mom.
In his 20s.
Shut
Guess
up.
how old the kid was. Yeah, Chad. Anybody? wanna
24.
guess?
He's there with his mommy. I'm guessing he's like 12.
Yeah, it's like
24.
I mean, Mike,
Eight-
Mike,
19.
Mike was very stern.
19 to 24.
The kid was 25.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah, extremely close. K-pop junkie said 46.
Oh,
So
that'd be pathetic.
so then Mike goes on. Actually, it wasn't even. It was Mike had gone. Yeah. I think it was just. Yeah, and then
Wait, did we see the art at all?
he took it down. No, what do you mean? Did he what?
Did we see the art?
No. He never
Like,
showed
can we
any of the
see it?
art. He was just saying this is my Boston Comic-Con recap. I loved everything about the show except for the one thing that kind of irked him was that he gave a portfolio review, and the kid went up to him to get his review, right? And he gave him a review. And Mike was just like, that's the one thing I didn't enjoy was I gave this kid a review. He came up to me, I gave him a review, and the kid was not taking any of the advice. It was very defensive. They're not, so it was like, why are you asking me for a critique when you're not, obviously you're only looking to hear good stuff. And obviously you're not ready to work. So
Because he's mommy's big boy, and mommy tells him he does so many good things, and he's such a good artist.
yeah, I don't remember if the mom then DM'd him afterwards to say that he was rude and condescending.
Yeah, I think.
Or-
I think wrote him an email and saying that everyone else disagrees. They like his stuff, but
Yeah.
then you gave him a bad review, so the problem is you're an asshole.
Right,
basically.
right. Yeah. So.
That's so stupid. That's childish of them. But
Yeah. Well, first of all, the kid is 25.
And the mom was played by Kathy Bates, and
well, I mean,
Boy.
maybe this kid probably, honestly, probably has some kind of issues, right? I would think if he's 25 but needs his mom to take him to the comic. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just.
I am.
Maybe he needs some assistance or something. I don't know.
Nah, I don't think so. That's nice to think, but I've heard crazy
But
stories like
look,
this.
there's plenty of reasons why you need your mommy to hold your hand.
Well, I used
So-
to do a show with my mom. Mom was
But
like,
if you go up to the
Yeah,
artist,
Sean
and I know
Sean
sometimes.
used to go to conventions with his mom, Jerry.
yeah, until I was like almost 40.
But he probably thought Mike, like he probably thought he was so good, and he's like Mike is going to be so happy to see such good work,
Yeah,
and that like
no doubt.
he probably picked Mike, thinking like, well, who's Mike showing? I'm not dissing Mike. I think Mike is awesome. I'm just saying this dipshit kid probably was thinking like he's better than Mike for some strange reason.
I don't think he should come
You
on.
know,
You don't want to come on the show?
I don't. I just texted him. I don't think he should come on
Okay.
though. It's late. It's like 9 o'clock his time. 10.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about right now? Okay. Jeez, okay.
He might not reply. It's late. But I get
So
it.
that story's still going?
I get
Because
it.
he's updating.
Well, he then took it down, but he's still talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Because then there's other people DMing him about it, and so he's still talking about it. But Golf Boy Sunday says my mom would have reeled in the mic, saying he should have ripped my stuff even more. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
see,
usually-
your mom wants you to grow, and
I think if it was like usually I reserve my more honest reviews for artists that are in college and up. But if you're like in junior high, well, maybe high school. But if you're in junior high, high school, I might go a little softer, or at least be more. Like, I don't know, Sean. I listen to Sean's reviews, and he's always like, "Oh, this is good. This is nice." Like, why
Yeah,
why are you so nice to people, Sean?
Well, yeah, the thing is, it's a cost benefit. I mean, if someone really, like I am, I'm mentoring some people, and they need like truth bombs, but the average person, like, it's crazy. Like, they're there as fans, and I got to be encouraging. I think you can, if your goal is to get them to be better every day, then you can be nice to them. But if they specifically say to you, "I want to be working in 3 years," then that's where they have to have a serious reality check and just hit. So you have to tell them straight out, it's not going to happen for all of these reasons. And that's really painful. Like, I would just say, like, see that guy over there? Go get a portfolio from him. His name is Bernard Chang.
Mm. Bad cop, good cop.
All right, he might come on.
I've seen. Oh, okay. This is juicy.
He might come on.
Time to spill some tea.
But he doesn't want to talk about the mom, so I think we can talk about portfolio reviews in general.
We'll get the mom out of him.
But let's, in the
Put up a
meantime,
picture of Kathy Bates from Waterboy.
what is this, Sean? Is this the art fight thing?
Yeah, I don't know the rules of it, but it sounds like, art and fighting. Yeah.
Well, word on the street is that Battle of the Sketches will come back for a little bit.
Yeah.
Word on the street. No, I need a Discord link. Hold on. Give me a sec, guys. Entertain the masses for a second.
Okay, look, there's the rules for art fight. I like the word attack, and putting attack and art together, I think, is how can you lose?
How about this, Sean? When you do give a portfolio, when someone approaches the Comic-Con or any convention asking for a portfolio review, what's the best way they should actually approach you, and what's the best way for them to present their work to you? iPad? Do you like hard actual paper?
Well, I mean, I look at the paper stuff more, and you always ask them, like, what do you want to do? Because they always give you like a complete a piece of art that even has coloring on it and everything. So I try to limit it to what they want to do. Because you see inking, penciling, and then it's a huge subject, and there's no way to do it in less than 2 hours. And I don't have 2 hours. I'm doing a drawing. So it's never a good thing. I kind of discourage people from coming up and then asking for a portfolio review.
I always just say to come back at a different time, and then they'll never come back.
Yeah.
And the few that actually do come back, I'm like, well, fuck, they earned this portfolio review.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a tough one because it's a huge subject. And then if you can make anyone become a professional artist, like that's worth its weight in gold, and it just can't happen. So you're talking about, it's like a college course, and then what can you really say about their work that's going to really change things? But I understand why I do, because I took my work around. I have hundreds of portfolio reviews, and that's how I got better. But then now it's my turn to give them, I have a very hard time doing it.
Are you guys reading this instructions for this art fight? I don't really get it. Art fight.
Yeah, maybe it's too complicated.
Lasts 1 month, beginning July. During the event, users can register on the site to join in. Each year, participants are split into 2 themed teams to which they are assigned randomly. Players attack people of the opposing team by making art of original characters you choose belonging to members of the other team. You are free to use any visual art form. See attack section of the rules. Your team receives points based on what you create for the other team with each attack. The artist that receives
Yeah,
the attack can then counter that attack by drawing the character belonging to the person who attacked them, or pay forward by attacking a different person on the other team. At the end of the month, the team with the greater score wins. But remember, while there are points scored, the real goal is to celebrate characters with your fellow artists. Art Fight is about giving and receiving amazing art. Do you guys understand the rules?
No, I do. I do.
It's about giving and receiving amazing art. It's very obvious, guys.
What about like
Isn't it about dunking on amateurs?
No, well, I mean, we're gonna sign in with a pen name, of course.
Oh, Bernard's gonna be a ringer. I'd say we open up a wagering portion of this too. Let's do some hustling and put some money on this.
Wait, so how does it work?
Nobody knows.
Wait, is it like timed, like how we time it,
I
or
don't know.
I
Well,
don't think
here are the
so.
rules. I mean, the rules are on the screen here. You must be 13 years of age or older to register. Oh man, we're gonna clean up. Is there any money in this? Only one
But
active
can you be in
account.
your mid-50s though?
Yeah.
Can you be a current Marvel artist? Can you?
Only one active
dark.
account is allowed per person. Joining teams on multiple accounts during the event is prohibited. Do not attempt to impersonate any site members. Art Fight aims to be a safe place.
Fuck that.
Sexually explicit content in any
Shit,
form
here.
is prohibited.
boo?
Fetish mining.
I only do purely fetish.
Wait, what's fetish mining? It says fetish mining, which involves soliciting fetish art without the knowledge and consent of the user involved, is a bannable offense. What is? I don't get that. What is fetish mining?
I am.
Fetish mining.
Is that like if you're in the
So like
furries?
furries?
Or, yeah.
I guess if the Wolverine's a furry or something like that.
Art Fight
What's wrong with
does
that?
not allow harmful paraphilias.
Paraphernalia?
Paraphilia.
Pedophilia?
It says paraphilia.
So you can't draw like a gun or like sword?
No, such as incest, pedophilia, necrophilia, bestiality
Oh
to
man.
be depicted
Well, I'm
or
out.
discussed anywhere on the site.
This is a drag.
So many rules. I mean, I love rules.
Yeah. How's Courtney gonna draw anything in this?
I know. It took everything off.
Upload rules, attacks. I mean, how do they know which characters are mine? Like, are these like my characters, or like, can I say my character is Spider-Man? Or can you not
I don't
use?
think
Can you not? I mean, this is a lot to read here. This is a lot for a fight. Oh,
yeah, too many rules. I think.
this is way too much.
We'll send in James Quill and he'll explain it after he does it a couple times.
I mean, is anybody in
He'll win
chat?
it
Okay,
anyway.
here's the Instagram page for Art Fight. Thanks, Sean, for getting us going down this rabbit hole here.
That was rabbit hole.
Meanwhile, chat, if you guys think about what I should be sketching tonight, I still have about 45 minutes left. We'll do a
Why don't you
quick-
do the first bout of the sketches?
when is the
Or
battle of the sketches?
Alien Earth.
It's Alien Earth.
I think we're starting in September, right?
Oh, well, what is it?
The
Oh,
first
you
one is
can't
gonna,
announce it yet.
well, we'll say it here first. Why not?
Come on, I know the guy. I know the owner, so. You can hook it up.
The first guy is going to be Batman. We're
Batman.
keeping it simple. We've never drawn Batman before,
Wow.
and you can choose if it's whatever Absolute Batman or whatever Dark Knight Batman or whatever Adam West Batman. You know,
Dude,
Bernard, do you need references for Batman?
I don't know, but I think we.
Oh, Mike Choi's
we can
here?
Clean up.
Mike-
on this.
Mike Choi's here?
Mike.
He's in chat. So can you bring him into the?
Oh, in the Discord.
Into
Can
the room?
somebody give him a link to the Discord?
Is you a Jimbo here?
I don't think Jimbo's here today. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, unfiltered tonight.
I'm worried.
Damn.
Let me,
I can
Alien,
say
everyone
anything
wants
I
money.
want about that mom.
nothing about. Well, I can delete.
I can
this.
advertise
I can
some
delete
crypto.
the stream afterwards if you want.
So many deleted streams.
Yeah, if he talks candidly, we can just delete it.
How do we delete the? How do I get a link to the Discord? Do you have the Discord link? How does this work?
Well, Boopkit put it up. Boopkit isn't Jim Lee's in Hawaii, right? Right now.
Thank you, Poopkit.
Pukid ignored
It was
my
Jimmy's birthday too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We
Yeah,
have the
all
same
talented
birthday.
artists are born in August.
It's Jim
Yeah,
Lee's
Most talented
birthday.
people in August.
August 11th, baby, just like me.
Wow. So is Poop Kid in Hawaii with Jim?
Just
Probably.
looking
Yeah.
in the background.
He says, "Yeah."
Oh no way, really?
I don't think he said yeah to that.
Yeah, no.
Nah. Poop Kid, I might be going to what you texted me about in December. So,
Strip club?
Hubba.
I think Mike is on.
Poop Kid was working with
Does
AI.
this work?
Oh,
Wait,
Mike's
that's
here.
him. That's Mike.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream, Mike. Thanks for taking the time off tonight. I know you got your family and other stuff that you got to worry about. Welcome to the
Oh
stream.
no, I passed out putting my boys to sleep.
Usually I'm drawing something, but tonight we're just chatting about stuff. And your thing came up as a subject matter.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
so I don't know if you want to use us as a therapy session, because I feel like
Oh. No, okay, so when I said like, yeah, I'll talk about it if you you know, I don't have to mention the mom, because the reason why is because you know, even during the portfolio review, like she was there and she would like occasionally interject, and I would call him out on stuff where like I would literally respond to things that he would say with yeah, okay, but that's not relevant to my question. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'd call him out on things like this. Like I wasn't trying to be an ass or something. Can I curse on this?
yeah,
Yes.
Very fucking
I'll
gross.
delete this. I'm gonna delete this afterwards.
No, so but the thing is that like, you know, after the exchange, and there were some times where like I was like, you know, I straight up said like this right here, this storytelling choice that you've made of she's trying to block his attack with a sword or something, and then he somehow raises up a knife that he got from somewhere and stabs her through the hand. Where's the sword that they were both holding just 2 panels ago? You know what I mean? Like I was calling him out on this kind of stuff, and I was saying like this right here, like this choice that you've made to just completely ignore this big you know, flaw is upsetting. Like I use that word. This is upsetting, you know?
Right.
And
Sounds
it
like a bully to
basically
me, guys.
I mean, but basically, like I was just saying that, like, he first of all, like, he went to art school. He went to the Kubert School actually, and then he went to art school, and then a different art school, and then he has a 4-year degree, and now he's a teacher.
To Comic-Con.
Wait. What was
What's
the
that?
what was the
Now
real
he's
art?
having his mommy take him to Comic-Con.
I'm gonna like, I'm not gonna. So basically, the thing is that like, I was trying to be honest with him and not necessarily dismissive, but also just basically like talking to him like he's a grown up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And And like when all was said and done, they left, and I basically was like, the look on his face was like he thought I was wrong with everything, and that's fine. You can take what I have to give you. But please know that I'm trying to do everything in the best with the best intentions, and I'm coming at you in good faith, with the understanding that you want to do this professionally, and that is something that is extremely difficult to do. Bernard and I both know is that, the way that we put it is that there are more NBA players right now in the league than there are professional comic book artists that are consistently getting work, right?
Yes.
So this is a difficult thing. It's not like you can't just be the best art. You can't just be the class artist and think you're going to do this professionally, And it was just kind of like this mindset of like, man, you've got like unfinished panels here. You have teeth that legit look like, imagine like a horizontal line and then just vertical lines cutting through the horizontal line. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you're trying to draw realistically, man. You can't do this stuff. You can't draw like iconography, like depicting realism. Like we're trying to create this, belief in what we're seeing. You need to be able to believe that you're seeing something enough where you have people relate to the characters that you're drawing, and you can't draw things like this with this level of unprofessionalism and expect to do that. And I tried to like get him to understand what I was talking about by saying like, look, man, do you know what is this, man? What is this? And I held up one of his sheets. His Bristol boards weren't even in an Itoya folder. They were just loose. He just dumped them on my table, right?
Right.
And they're not in order, and they're somewhere back to front and stuff. So I'm having to wade through this stuff. And I'm like, the first advice is, and I'm not going to be mean. I'm like, hey, maybe you don't know, but there are these things called Itoya folders. You can just stick them in there. I'm sure you've seen them before, but those are like kind of like a standard in terms of making it easy for me to look through the stuff. And also maybe just, these are all inked and they're not colored. So maybe give me, photocopies or something so I can maybe even take them home if they're good enough, And I'm trying to give him this advice, and like I'm pointing to him, and I'm trying to like make it clear what I'm talking about by saying, hey, look, what is this? And I'm holding one of the Bristol boards in my hand, and he's like, it's a fighting shot, and I'm like, no, like this is almost a rhetorical question. You're not going to see what I'm trying to say, but can you describe what I'm holding in my hand? And he goes, well, it's a drawing of it. I'm saying, this is a piece of paper with ink on it. It's ink on a piece of paper. That's literally what this is here, right? And we're trying to create this illusion, this pareidolia of seeing something that is not actually there. And what I mean by that is, I have this saying, which is basically, if it looks like a penis, it's a penis, right? If you draw like wrinkles in pants, or you draw a building in such a way, or a rock formation, or the veins of an arm in such a way that it looks like a penis, you're creating an illusion anyway, and you've created the illusion of a penis now. So it's a penis now. I'm sorry, it is, right? So you have to be very deliberate in these choices of what you're trying to do. And if you don't clearly show what it is that you want me to see and believe that I'm seeing, you failed, So I was just trying to like be very clear in terms of, I'm not going to just give him the standard, ooh, this is actually really good, man. It's really dynamic here. And, you just got to work on your anatomy, maybe a little bit on perspective for the backgrounds, but keep it up, champ. Way to go. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to shine him on like that, right?
Right.
So basically, after all this is said and done, the next day I get this 3-page, like the equivalent of just like pages of writing about, it starts off with, well, you were brutally honest with my son, so I'm going to be brutally honest to you. And that's why in my response video or with TikTok or whatever I made, I was like, well, shoot, the big difference is your son asked me for my opinion. I did not ask you for your opinion.
Yeah.
And she saw the video, and because I told her that I was going to make it in a video, so my tone was very clear. I was going to address her letter in the video and in some writing beforehand. And then afterwards, she sends me a letter, and she says, thank you very much for explaining where you're coming from and how seriously you take this. You weren't just trying to be a jerk, but please can you make it not clear that you're talking about the interaction with my son? Because he follows you on Instagram, and he doesn't know that I wrote you the letter, and I feel like it would embarrass him. So I just deleted it because my initial thought was, well, shit, man, that's the repercussions. That's the consequences of what you get for writing me a letter. You know what I mean? Like, calling me shit, wanting to be brutally honest to me. That's the consequences of what you get. I'm going to respond to it in kind. Not at one point did you say that, this is supposed to be private or whatever. But, then I remembered that I have children. And I was like, man, if I could save my kid any embarrassment, especially if I caused it, even with the best intentions, I would take that in a heartbeat. So that's why I deleted it. And that's why I still want to make it so that it's not that this kid doesn't, he's 25, man, but he doesn't know that his mom did this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what to me, there's a lot of points. I can completely 200% on board with everything that you're saying. And I can feel the passion that you have for our craft. And I can completely understand your position. And there's no but at the end of this. Full stop.
No, okay.
So, this is. I hope he didn't. You said when he went to a regular art school. I hope it wasn't Pratt Institute.
No, it wasn't Pratt.
Okay, good.
It wasn't Pratt. It wasn't SBA. It was an art school.
I don't think it was RISD. I don't think it would be RISD.
No. It wasn't an art school I've heard of. But he'd only gone for 1 year, and then he went to undergrad. So he actually graduated with a 4-year degree, and now he teaches, which is good. But it just was one of those situations where it was like, I teach 16 students every semester. I don't get paid shit because I'm an adjunct, even though it's a 4-year private university. But it's hard, man. It's hard. They genuinely sometimes don't know how hard it is. You know how people say, they ask, I'm sure you guys get the question, how hard is it to break in? And I'm like, damn, man, I could tell you how hard it is to break in, but I could also tell you that it's so much harder to stay in, But they don't want to hear that.
Yeah. They
just want this magic formula on how to get in. And it's like, man, you don't, like, some obviously get it. Some do take it seriously. And some don't even consider the odds. They just want to be really good because they have this standard. You know what I mean? In terms of they have this perfectionist standard, in which case, they're only competing against themselves, which is honestly the best case scenario. But it's so hard. Sometimes I feel like such a downer in class because I talk about, hey, so many things are stacked against you. You have so much red tape. AI is going to be a problem. And this was starting a couple years ago. I was saying AI is going to be a problem immediately, not because it's going to be competition, because art directors and studios are going to use it from day one as a reason to pay you less.
Yeah.
So it's coming at this as it's really hard to do, y'all. And you have to take it seriously. And they do, because already that they do, because they're paying so much money to just go to school.
Oh,
I'm sure this is the case with art school too.
Yeah, art school is expensive. When you brought up Kubert School, I kind of chuckled inside. Everybody on this stream knows that I don't really have a lot of high expectations from the Kubert School. But that's also based off of experience from 30 years ago. So it could have changed by now. But to me, when I have someone bring up a portfolio for review, the one thing that I feel I must do is be honest. Because I asked them first, what is your intention for this review? is your intention that you want to work for Marvel or DC? Or is your intention that maybe you just want to do independent comics? Or is this just something that you're doing for fun and you want to get some tips? Now, most people that
Right.
have come
Yep,
across,
1,000,000%.
yeah, most people that I've come across will say, "Oh, I want to work at Marvel or DC." And so,
hmm
with that in mind, then I say, "Okay, well, I'm going to give you the critique based on whether I think you're ready or not, and I'm going to be very honest with you." So, you know, because that's what you're telling me, and sometimes I don't know how, if you feel this way, but I get insulted that if they're bringing me substandard work, because like there is this mentality of using the NBA example, and I say this to every kid that comes across. I said,
Scalabrini?
how difficult is it? How difficult would you think it would be to get into the NBA? Right, next to
Right.
impossible in some cases. But how many active players are in the NBA right now? So what was the number? 450. 30 teams, 15
Right.
players on each team, active. So when the season starts, at any time there's 450 players in the NBA. How many professional comic book artists are working at Marvel and DC? Much less than that, because Marvel and DC publish around 100 to 125, maybe 150 books a month total.
Mhm.
And then you maybe times by 2 or 2.5 or 3 of people that are working. Like right now I'm working, but my book is not coming out. So you're looking at like 350 to 400 maybe people working at any one time. Not including, I don't include like variant cover artists per se. Mostly
Well, what I count is basically anyone who is making enough to sustain a living. Like
Right.
this is their full-time job.
yes.
That's who counts, and that's the number who I maintain is less than the number of active players on all NBA rosters.
Yeah, so it's a difficult situation. I just wanted you to know that you're not alone in the frustration that you're feeling. I certainly, and I guess other people are DMing you about it, about the initial post. You know, I hope.
I don't think it's frustration. I think it was just any kind of like frustration I feel is honestly on behalf of all of us artists, but definitely the up and coming like prospective professional artists, just because how everything is stacked against them. You know what I mean? When I look at my classroom, I'm just like, maybe 1 or 2 of you are gonna find yourselves doing art for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like and making a living doing that. And you know, the truth is that even though I seem harsh based on those few videos, my students, I mean, this sounds really braggy, but my students like me and they follow me on Instagram and whatever, and they follow me and correspond with me. And the thing is, when I teach sophomores, and then I see them again for their senior presentation,
Mm-hmm.
and they always seem happy to see me, and they do tell me very positive stuff, and my student reviews are almost positive as well. But the thing is, I mean, the faculty evaluations are positive as well. But the thing is, when I see them or they talk to me afterwards, for every like student that is, hey, I found a job, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. There's 5 who just tell me that they're having trouble finding work. Some have stopgap jobs. Some are pursuing art as a hobby. And it's just one of those things where it's like, man, it's disheartening to me because that is not my goal. My goal is for every single one of these students to be working full-time professionally as artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, that's the thing that's frustrating. So anything where a student kind of sort of impedes themselves by shooting themselves in the foot, and you can see it in real time, man. Like, it's getting harder and harder on these on these kids, because like, man, when I started like teaching 7 years ago, there were kids from like out of state, there were kids living in the dorms, and now everyone's here, everyone's local, and everyone lives at home. And some of my students, you know, nearly all of them have full-time, like part-time jobs. And you know, recently I've had a couple students who are homeless and still trying to come to class. And you know, something that I tell my students, like, hey, just don't fuck it up. Just don't ruin it for other students. You don't even have to show up to class, and you'll get an A. And the reason being is that, look, if you take this class even remotely seriously, but what I'm saying is that your GPA doesn't matter for the job that you want. For the job that you were training for the job that you're taking this class for, your GPA is not going to matter. If your portfolio is shit and you have a 4.0, no one's going to hire you. That said, if you have a graduating GPA, but your portfolio is fucking immaculate, someone's going to pick you up, right?
Yep.
So why would I fuck you up by giving you a shitty grade, especially if you're here on scholarship? So you're going to get an A. And the amazing thing from that is that my students, when I ask them, like, first of all, even though I say, just don't, like, if you don't show up to class, that's fine. Like, they all show up to class. And then I do this thing where I say, like, hey, you know what? You also get mental health days. All right. And what that basically means is that, like, look, if you're taking the class seriously, I will stay on you. Just what I'm asking you is so I know that I haven't lost you. The class starts. You have a minute before class starts. Just tell me you're not going to show up. And then it's fine. We will catch you up. We'll catch you up no matter what it takes. Just tell me a minute before class, up to a minute before class, that you're going to be not in class. And I promise you I'll catch you up. You don't even have to tell me why you're not showing up. I just call it a mental health day. And more of these kids are taking those days, man, because shit, life is fucking hard for them, you know? And their enthusiasm is there. They want it, but it's just like shit's just rough on them, man. And it's like super disheartening to see, which is why I almost take it personally, and like I just want to like shake them when it's their own egos getting in the way, you know. Like something I'm very honest about is, you know, when someone's like, I mean, when they start, they don't understand. I mean, they don't know what to expect from me. But when I say something like, how many of y'all think y'all can draw a face, right? Let's say, I mean, like the first class is just introductions. The second class, we actually play charades, right? Not charades, sorry, Pictionary. Because the whole idea is that accuracy is not as important as getting what you need to get across. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
the most important thing in art. Whatever you want to get across, you got to get that shit across way more than it is about something look accurate or whatever, right?
I mean, you're communicating in a language. I mean, art
yeah,
is
exactly. You got to get used to that language, right? So basically, when someone says something like, "Oh, I can draw a face, but I can't draw feet," usually I tell them, like, I have doubts right off the bat, because when you say you can draw a face, but you can't draw feet, it's probably a 3/4 face, the same face, and the farther eye is a little bit fucked up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you say that you can't draw feet, it's probably because you don't know the structure of a feet or whatever, but you probably never even tried to draw a feet like accurately, like look at what a foot looks like and what the anatomy looks like. Because in the end, all of this is, we're just trying to make shit look like shit. We're just trying to make the thing look like what it's supposed to look like. That's all we're supposed to do. That's all we're trying to do. And when some artists literally they just want you to confirm that they're awesome, I don't know what to do with that, because in the end it's not even to like make sure that they learn what they need to learn so much as everything that they need to learn has to be something that helps them be able to make a living after they graduate. That's what I feel like my task is, you know? It's not a hobby. You would not be paying tens of thousands of dollars, like almost $100,000 over 4 years to improve on a hobby. That's ridiculous. So that's how seriously I take it, and that's what I expect, you know, people. That's how I expect like people who come to me like either you know, looking to learn or even get a portfolio review. If they tell me like this is what I want, I'm gonna treat it like that's the truth, as opposed to thinking that, oh, this is your hobby, and if I say anything negative, I am legit just yucking your yum, which I don't want to do, man. If you think you're fucking awesome and you get off on that, and nothing else depends on that, like you're not trying to like raise a family or anything like that off whatever you might make doing this thing, then by all means, you are awesome. Your art is amazing, and keep doing you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Anyway, I'm sorry to rant, man.
no. This
something.
is you know, I think everybody that's here on chat on stream will agree. I mean, they're in support, and you know, like look, you know, Sean and I we say about it. People always come up to us at conventions asking for critiques, portfolio reviews. Sean is very nice to them, and I'm very mean. But
Mhm.
I tell him it's not that I'm mean. It's just I'm honest, and I feel like I
Right.
have a duty to be honest. And you know, I'll point things out. And the worst thing is, I remember when I was trying to break in, and I brought a portfolio to a convention, and there was this artist that I had admired greatly as a collector, and he was sitting there alone at the end of the day. I think at the time maybe just doing a commission or just doodling. And I brought my portfolio up and I said, you know, excuse me, Mr. I'm not going to say his name, but can you please take a look at my portfolio? You know, I would really appreciate any kind of a review or critique that you might be able to give me. And he kind of like looked up, but not really looking up. You know, his head was still down, but his eyes were up. And then he kind of went down and said, no, I'm too busy. Nope. Sorry. And I was like, wow, you know, I had never met the guy before. And I was like, you know, can you please, you know, I'm such a huge fan of your work. Like anything that you say or any kind of wisdom that you can bestow upon me would be, you know, tremendous. And he's like, nope. And then finally, there's a guy, another artist sitting next to him. He's like, come on, just look at the kid's portfolio. You know? He's like, oh, okay. Begrudgingly, he was like, I was like, can you just look at one page? What about just one page? You know, if you can give me any kind of critique on just one page. And so finally, he looked at the one page, looked it up and down, and said, okay, this is nice, and then handed it back. And I was just so crushed at that point. Where I felt like, wow, you know, I want to be a professional. And, you know, this is a guy that I respect his work, that I looked up to. And he wouldn't even give me, you know, a minute of his time. And so that kind of also fuels me now, where, you know, if someone's going to ask me for a review, well, I'm going to give them an honest review. If what their intent is to work professionally. because otherwise, you teach a drawing class, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Is it a comics class or is it a drawing class?
No, it's figure drawing. Yeah, I teach figure drawing for animators and sculptors, predominantly in games, but sometimes in like animated films.
Okay.
But it's using a 3D assets.
Okay. But there's like, even with art schools, there's only one school that gives you a major in sequential illustration. That's SCAD. And most other art schools don't even have a comic book class. I think outside of SVA. Pratt. When I went to Pratt, they didn't have an art class. They didn't have a comic book class. Now I think there's one comic book class. So, it's not like this is something that you can really go to school and learn. So everyone's kind of doing it on their own. Anyways, yeah, I just.
Well, hey, let me ask you.
Go ahead.
The artist that you asked, that you were a big fan of, what were you expecting? You were clearly disappointed. So what were you expecting?
Well,
but didn't get.
I didn't draw like him. My style is not anything close to what he draws like. But I wanted to get his perspective on something in terms of how he saw the work and where he might have seen flaws. And even till this day, like I'm always like, when I ask, I always send stuff back when, JP was here and John Paul Leon, and I would send him work, and we'd send each other work. And the purpose was to have him see what I couldn't see. To have him point out the flaws. Because there's flaws in everything. But when you're working on something, and you're working on something so intensely over a period of time, it's very difficult to see those flaws right away. And so my hope was always to get comments on what I could not see so that I could improve and get better. And,
right.
Because as an artist, you're constantly improving. There's no artist that, if you feel like, to me, if I still feel satisfied with my work and content with my work, then I don't see why, I don't see the joy in being an artist anymore.
Sure.
There is a constant evolution. Even now, like I saw you were drawing that Galactus piece at the show, and I noticed that you're doing what seemed like, with the coloring, it was very, let's say, Van Gogh-esque, but it was like, very like using with a color pencil or something, that you were using a marker, and you're just dabbing in color marks on there. Very different than some of the other stuff that you used to do. And I remember when you were working on Demon Knights, because I jumped on Demon Knights when you were doing the covers. It was very painted stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a constant evolution of work and constant evolution of
for sure
drawing.
Absolutely. But not to make too big a point about it, you wanted outside points of view, fresh eyes, right? Not someone who has, been with the work as long as you have. Your work, I mean, you just wanted someone to give you an opinion of what you might have been doing wrong, where you can improve. Why was it so important that he be that person? Like, you and I know that anyone could give you suggestions on where something could be off. They don't even have to be artists, because the thing that I truly do believe, especially when you have young artists, which neither of us are, say stuff like, I'm not going to listen to people who aren't professional artists when it comes to criticism. You know, my argument against that is, you know, they might not be able to tell you why something is off, but your primary customer base is going to be people who aren't artists, and they don't like something that you've done. They will know that they don't like it. They might not be able to express why they don't like it, but they'll know that they don't like it. So I guess my question is like, it was clearly important that this person tell you, educate you. Is that what you were expecting?
Well, part of it is there's some educational components. I mean, this was my very first comic book convention that I brought a portfolio to, and like at that convention, I met Dennis Cowan. You know, Dennis has this face where you don't know if he likes it or not. Sometimes he'll smile, but you know, it's a very serious kind of demeanor. At least this is what I remember. And I went with John. Actually, I went with John Paul. So, you know, John was getting a lot of praise from his portfolio. And he actually landed a job right out of that convention. He landed his first professional job showing his work around at that show. And I was just trying to get as much feedback as I could. At that time, we were both 18, 19, freshman year, sophomore year in college. He was freshman, maybe. And so this was like one of the, I mean, I had met other professional comic book artists before, but this was the first time that I had my own work to show. So it was, I wanted feedback. I wanted, you know, what am I doing wrong? You know, what else can I be doing better? Because I just started drawing sequentials. I just started drawing interior pages. And so I feel like, okay, yeah, you know, you want to get an ego boost, but I also want a job. So I want to know what I'm doing right, but also what I'm doing wrong. And what I'm doing wrong is the most important thing because I can't see it. Or I can see it, but I don't know how to solve it. So, or you know, any kind of feedback. I think this is another thing that goes to me that I felt for a very long time is that as an artist, a lot of artists, because we work alone in our own space for such a long time, that a lot of artists tend to gravitate or yearn for a mentor or yearn for a voice that maybe has, maybe can provide some guidance. I heard this from an old art teacher from when I was in high school, and it really resonated with me. I still remember it to this day. And then that he says, you know, a lot of young artists, they crave for kind of, not necessarily a mentor, but like a teacher. Because the teacher will be able to help provide some kind of path or guidance to point out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Because we're just drawing ourselves and we spend so much time looking at the piece, looking at the page, that it's very difficult to separate it. I think as a pro now, it's easier, right? As a pro, you have to be able to quickly analyze and assess what you did right, what you did wrong, why you make this choice, why you made the other choice, and then move forward. But as a young artist, you're just kind of like, you know, just in that space, in that zone, and not really knowing what you're doing right. It just feels good. So when there is a mentor, when there is a teacher, they then ground you and then set goals and sets a path. To me, it's like a coach. You know, a player just goes and plays outdoors in the court, plays pickup. Right? Well, they can do okay. I mean, they can score, they can win, they can make friends. But it's not the same as playing within an organized system with a coach, with a trainer that's going to give you certain things, that's going to critique you. Like, don't do this, do that. And that's how you really improve. And improve in a faster, more efficient rate than if you were to just continue to go outside and play pickup. You know, I don't know if you still play, but I mean, I remember I'll see when I was young and I go play pickup and I'll see guys that I can tell if a guy has played only pickup or if a guy has played in a structured system with a coach, because there's just certain things that they can do more efficiently, and they might not be as athletically gifted, but they're still able to score and defend and rebound and win. And so for an artist, you know, some artists, I do think like having a coach does make things move faster. And when I say that, I mean like improve faster. You know, even for me, I still hit points where I just can't draw. Like this drawing right now. I'm about to erase this drawing. You know, I had started it a few months ago, and then I put it away, and now I'm like on the stream. I'm thinking, okay, I kind of like the face a little bit. I kind of like this thing, but I don't. I'm not really feeling this shoulder, this arm, this hand. I think I'd rather erase the whole thing and start over. You know, if I could if I could ask you, well, what's wrong with this? You know, how would you approach this differently? That could give me and save me like a couple hours of time, because otherwise I'm going to erase this and start all over again. So I just hope like the young artists out there appreciate the critiques that you're giving, because it comes from a place, I think, of love and passion. Love for the medium, love for the craft, love for art, love for being, I don't want to say like being the best, but do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Do you still want to be the best?
I don't know what the best is.
You know, we have these conversations. Like, I know that I think about you every time I do this, but like, I know you know what I'm talking about. But I've told you that, furthering the analogy with the NBA. If all of professional comic artists was the NBA, who would be my player equivalent? We've had this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I think I surprised you once by saying, I think I'm Michael Beasley. And I think I might be overestimating myself a little bit. But I don't know, man. Like, I think the thing is that I'm not, LeBron. You know what I mean? But the weird thing is, and that Scalabrine quote aside, there is still a part of me that thinks that I'm in year 20, which is like what, the equivalent of being a 30-year-old NBA player, right? Maybe a 28-year-old NBA player, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that like I still think that if I, turn some corners, I could be LeBron next season. You know what I mean?
But I mean, the truth is that you could.
Also, it's much more hard in this industry to define who is LeBron. You know what I mean?
Right. I think there's. I use
who is the best player.
I use two analogies whenever I talk about comics. One is NBA because I know about basketball, and the other is wrestling. So, wrestling in a sense that It's an entertainment format. You know, fans tend to have certain wrestlers that they gravitate towards. They might not be technically the best wrestler, but they do something that stirs a hook, that creates a hook with certain fans. And you know, it's a I think more recently now for myself, well, throughout the whole career is really like trying to figure out, well, what's the hot thing? Like, what's the best thing to do? Because like, are you the best? What is the definition of the best? You know, what is the definition of LeBron or Michael Jordan or Kobe?
You know who I think about a lot is, do you remember Pooh Richardson?
Yes.
Do you remember Tony Campbell? Like, we're talking about early 90s here, right? But these are players who averaged 20 points a game but for crappy teams. And the second they either moved to a better team or whatever, they were, you know, they went from 22 points a game to 11 points a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not the person that I want to be. I want to know exactly who I am. I want to know just how good I am.
Right.
And that's hard. That's hard to do in this very. Maybe there is more wrestling in. It's more like wrestling as opposed to the NBA. You know what I mean? Maybe it is more perception than it is about actual ability. You know.
Well, yeah, and I
But
say that because sometimes you see artists that are like really blowing up or getting a lot of heat, and then I'm like, well, you know, they're not like, I mean, they're okay, but there's like a lot of flaws here or there. But there is a flaws in terms of like technical drawing or storytelling, but there is a particular X factor. There's a excitement about the work. There's a dynamic aspect that makes it interesting to look at. Or sometimes, like, you know, I just don't get it. I don't get why that person is so popular, or why. And popular, again, you know, popular is not good. Good is not popular. But what is, you know, in NBA? Well, yeah, if you're scoring 30 points a game, you're going to be considered one of the top, or high 20s. But what is that equivalent of in comics? Like, what is the, you know, points per game equivalent of? And that's something that I think is a little bit less definable. You know, whether you win or lose, maybe a little bit more correlatable, but points per game or rebounds, I mean, you can say like, oh, this guy's a scorer, as opposed to this guy's a rebounder, or this guy is, you know, a glue guy. But it's always interesting to try to frame comics and talk about art or artist careers. But yeah, I don't really like. Look, I just erased this drawing. We'll have to start over. Sometimes, like, I erase stuff, and I end up drawing 2 or 3 different things, and then I go back to the first drawing. So I might go back to the first drawing, but.
Can I ask something? Who is Superior Court?
Oh, that's Courtney. Is Courtney still here, or is she gone?
I'm still here. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just an extra on here.
Courtney's
Can
our
I
co-host.
ask you something, Courtney?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know who I am?
I might have met you before. I am not. I'm more in the anime manga realm of comic books, not so much in American comic books.
Okay, thank you. It's one of those things where do you guys ever wonder, like, what do you want? Like, okay, so something that I ask my students, by the way, if any college professor starts a sentence with something, I tell my students, it's an immediate sign that they're an asshole. But anyway, something I tell my students is, I ask them, like, how do you know you've made? How will you know that you've made it? You know what I mean? Like, how will you know you've made it as like a professional or what you want to achieve professionally? And in that regard, would you guys say that you've made it? Are you where you want to be in your careers?
Are you asking Courtney or are you asking?
All of y'all, 3 of y'all here, and
Sean
I just
made
don't
it-
know who Courtney is, but
Sean made it with his first comic book, professional comic book. He got a royalty check for like it's really like, I think it was like $60-something thousand for one book.
Sugar Sean.
Have we made it?
Well, the thing is, most artists, if you get better and better, you really don't think you ever made it, and that's not a good thing. But it's also a good thing because it keeps you striving. So I actually had to think long and hard in my old age and convince myself like I made it. So get that out of the way, so we can just at least get that out, so that we can move forward. And all of us here have made it. Although I think it's beneficial to think that we didn't. And one thing about in teaching this stuff, since I'm writing now, I listen to a lot of Brandon Sanderson, who teaches for free, and he says that like you guys practice basketball. If I ever ask you like, hey, what are you doing today? You're practicing basketball. I would ask you like, if someone asks you like, well, when are you going to be on TV in the NBA? That's ridiculous. Like, it's not going to happen, and I wouldn't even ask that. But then if someone said like, well, I'm writing a book, they're like wondering, well, when is it going to be published? And the same thing with comics too. You don't have to be published to draw comics, and to get your critique from Mike or Bernard, you can critique them and then not have that metric is like, well, you do this, otherwise you won't make it. You can just do this for fun. I've drawn comics, like a 9-page comic, and no one's ever seen it. It's for me. That's perfectly fine. So I think a lot of the metrics here that you're talking about is to get people from where they are to getting into Marvel. And I think the people who are bringing this stuff up to you have got to stop saying that, because that is a pipe dream. But if that's what you really want, then that's when the floodgates to a lot of negativity comes out, because it's rarely good enough. But it doesn't have to be, because you can do this just for fun.
I think there's a lot more options nowadays than there was like 10, 20 years ago for comic books. People can do webtoons, they can do self-publishing. There's a lot more options. You can go on social media, you can post your stuff. They have different opportunities now than you guys did when you had to go to the conventions. You had to show face, which is still good. But, there's different opportunities that you might have to go to before going to Marvel, DC, which, it's highly competitive. So it's a lofty goal. And when you have lofty goals, then your chances of hitting them are, even harder. So if that's what people consider making it and you don't make it, do you still like to do your art? Isn't that the point, that you still like to draw? Oh, like, why have you dedicated hours? Like, I still draw, and I've never published anything or done anything. So I just do it for myself now. And I don't know. I think everybody has to reevaluate their goals. And when you're dealing with young adults, and it's good that they have goals, but that won't always be the case. And it can be changing throughout, especially their, college years, especially where, I went from an international business major to kinesiology major. So it's I think everybody has to just, realize there's evolving times. And even Bernard, you went from like Disney working on rides and stuff like that to comic books. There's a variety of things that you've done in your career. And Sean too, you were in marketing and then back and forth from comics. And so I think that's a different perspective to remember, is that I think people get hard on themselves when they don't hit their goals, because we all want to hit our goals. but also baby steps in some ways.
Yeah, I agree with that, because it does matter what your goals are. I mean, I graduated with an IT degree. I worked at IBM for 3 years, and when I thought about doing comic books, I did think about the possibility of, well, what if this is just a hobby for me? But I really just I just gotten promoted. I was getting paid way more money than a 25-year-old should. And I just remember thinking, oh, they're paying me lots of money to just age me for 40 years. And I think that's when I realized, oh, I want to spend my entire career, my professional life doing this, making comics, not as like a part-time thing. And I'm not saying that that's like not a good goal, because in the end, if you're enjoying it, if it's something that you get joy from, then and that is your goal, then that should be your goal, because that's the point of living. You know what I mean? So I think that's the thing. It's like if someone came to me and said, no, I just really, really enjoy doing this, and I like it when not just me making it, but I have people out there on Webtoons or whatever, or whatever platform, and they enjoy it too. I have a lot of followers. I'm not someone to say, yeah, but then you should work on your anatomy. If you're enjoying it and you love it, and the audience that you want love it too, I can't say anything about it. You know what I mean? I truly believe that too. That said, like the people who I'm teaching, and that's also why I ask someone, if they bring me their portfolio, I ask them, like, what do you want to do? And if I take their answer as being, I want to do what you do, that's when I am brutally honest with how difficult it is to do what I specifically do for the specific audience that I ideally have, you know?
I think it's crazy to expect anything other than complete honesty, though. I don't know. I still, I mean, that's why it's so shocking, especially the whole mother thing. But also, Mike, I'd like to say that I appreciate you coming on here and talking about your young students, because sometimes Bernard and Sean, they like to talk shit about the younger generation. And I always have to come and back them up and say it's pretty hard out there. It's not easy.
I'm sorry. Do you guys, Bernard, do you guys have kids?
I have 2 kids.
That's a different story.
I don't have any kids.
No. I asked because I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I know I do this. I project my children in the students I teach. They are closer in age to my kids than they are to me, because I'm 46. And sometimes I find myself, when I'm frustrated, I say, buddy, and I even tell them, I say, hey, when I call you buddy, I'm not trying to like condescend. It is literally because buddy is what I call my kids. And it was just a leap in my focus here, and I did it by accident, but it's not like I'm trying to be condescending. I literally am like, I want to help because I want you. I mean, the thing that I get so frustrated by, and the thing that I say sometimes when I'm mad at the world, is I will talk to my students when they're clearly having hard times, and I just tell them, I just want y'all to be okay. That's it. I just want y'all to be okay. If you decide that you don't want to make art and you just want to do whatever, I just want y'all to be okay. That's it. I have had students come to me, and I know this isn't my job, but one of my students that I am most like, she shoot, I don't know if I can say this. I was concerned for her well-being, and just the fact that I said, hey, are you okay? And the reason why I ask is because I am seeing this. And the fact that I even asked was such a big deal to her. And she just made it very clear it was such a big deal to her. And I'm just like thinking to myself, man, you guys are not having a good time. You guys are not enjoying college the way that I enjoyed college because you guys, man, I don't even know what I wanted to be. Like I said, I just graduated and worked at IBM because I had an IT degree that I picked as a major because I straight up asked a guest lecturer as a marketing student. They said marketing doesn't make any money. So I said, what does make money? IT. All right, I'm gonna switch my major to IT because the reason I'm in college is to make money. But like these students, they want a job making art. They are volunteering as tribute. They want to devote their lives to making art. And for me, that's so like, oh man, I gotta help them, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't
And
have any kids,
I think
but
it is some projection. I do imagine my kids are that age, and there is a part of me that's like, man, I hope my kids' teachers care about them succeeding.
right. I definitely see that coming through. I mean,
Also, Sean and Bernard are assholes.
Yeah, that's true. we're
just-
all assholes
You just
here,
figured that
actually,
out?
This
But
stream
I take
destroys
no
dreams.
pleasure in it.
D. Rogers, hold on a sec.
It's a good thing you missed.
Huh? Well, yeah, Mike, you missed the whole first 30, 45 minutes of this stream was talking about the AI apocalypse.
Oh boy, don't start that up
Mhm.
again. It's
No,
too
we're
late
not
tonight for that.
I want to thank D. Rogers for a sub 60 months. We've been doing this for 60 months.
How about that?
How many
Jeez.
years is that?
5.
5.
5? Fuck.
Damn.
That's 5 full years? I started in August of
Yeah,
2020.
61.
August of 2020. During the pandemic.
You did?
Pencils down. Wow.
I thought you started before pandemic.
Well, I did a couple streams before then, but this main Sketch Fighters thing was started in the pandemic. Really. I want kids, Mike, but it might be a little too late for
Don't
that.
do it.
What? No, as a guy, it's never too late.
I just want one kid. I just want one. But I'm gonna train him to be a basketball player. And I would be like Serena Williams' dad or Venus Williams' dad or what was that?
Uh-oh.
Marinovic's dad. I don't know. I think I would be too. I already had everything planned out, but I don't think I'm gonna have a kid now, though.
You know, every time someone sees me like at a convention or something, they're always like, "Man, you seem so much happier." And I have to say, and I'm not saying this is because everyone should have kids, but I genuinely think that my life is way more focused because I have kids. And I say this, my kids are the best thing about me, and I say this as someone who readily admits that there is no unselfish reason to have kids. Does that make sense? Every single reason to have kids that exists is ultimately selfish. And also there's no bad reason not to have kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stand by that.
But even with all that, I do say that my kids, I don't know, man, like, they're the best thing about me. They make my life, like, they just give it way more focus. Like, I still want to do all these things, but, like, yeah. But that said, I can also say that it's definitely, like the way that I put it is that I had kids when I was in my late 30s. If I had kids even 5 years prior, holy crap, I would have been the worst dad. And my kids would have been unhappy. You know what I mean?
Your kids are very young, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not teenagers yet, though. Yeah.
No, for sure. But I think the thing is that, like, I think it's also where you're at as a parent. a prospective parent, and who
Oh,
who you are.
Are you training your kids
like
to be artists, Mike?
What's
Or
that?
are you training your kids to be artists?
Absolutely not. But you know what's crazy is that.
Same here.
but what's crazy is that like the older one, he loves drawing. Like he will draw up and down. At any time, he will just ask for paper and he will just draw like crazy. The younger one, not so much. The only time he'll draw is when he wants to be like his brother. But man, dude, he's 5, and I look at his stuff and I'm like, holy shit, you're doing 1-point perspective already. Like you figured that shit out. You figured out that there are certain angles, there's certain sides of a box that you can see, but not others from certain angles. And you're figuring that shit out. You're figuring out that if something's lower, you can see more of it because of 1-point perspective. And you understand that angles work in a way where you will draw the wheel turning in a wheel well in order for the whole vehicle to turn. Like you're seeing all that shit. And I'm like looking at that going, maybe talent does exist because no one taught you that shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Well, it's starting at a young. It's starting
That's
at a young age. Does he play with toys?
Yeah, no, he loves Legos. I mean, he will do Technics, man. Like things that are like 18 and up, he'll do it. And I'm like, oh shit, he needed no help for that.
Well,
So-
I might suggest like because I've thought about like all these things. If I had a kid, what I would, put him through, or things that I would get him to do at a young age. And then one thing is also have him build a model, like a plastic model car or plane. I don't know if he's too young for that. They do have some Snap-on stuff, but I really feel like
Nah, you know those.
Then you destroy it.
Oh, go on.
Well, when I was young, I used to.
Did
build
you say
a lot of-
destroy it?
Yeah, well, when I was young, I used to build a lot of models, like cars and battleships and the Starship Enterprise.
No, he makes those Blokies. Those Transformer toys.
Uh,
They're models. They're like the old Gundam sets, but like a little bit easier.
okay.
Yeah, but he'll make that shit, man, and it's just like wild. Like, dude, what the hell, man?
'Cause
You
I
can't
think-
even
I
wipe your own. But you peed your pants twice.
Yeah. No, because I think
Last week.
when
How
you're
are you
making
making
those
that?
models, right?
Yeah.
When you're making those models, you're feeling something that's three-dimensional, something that should be bigger but smaller in your hands. And when you're assembling them, you have to look
I
at it from
definitely get you.
you have to look at it from different perspectives and to see how things can wedge in. And
Dude, it's wild, man. No, it's wild because like the older kid, like he learned how to read like really quick, and he knows math like really quick. Like he, like when like shit, man. Like when he was trying to figure out like this was like a couple years ago too. So he was like 6, and he was trying to figure out 9 squared, right? And he says 81, and I was like, all right, buddy. Here's a trick. What do you think 9 cubed is, right? And he fucking disappears, right? With a piece of paper and a pen. And he starts writing shit down. And he comes back and he gives me a 3-digit number. And I'm like, okay. And I break out my calculator like a normal person, right?
yeah,
And I punch it in 9 times 9 times 9. And he's off. So I tell him that the answer was wrong. And he gets all sad. And then I was like, wait a second. And I figured out that he actually got the correct answer for 9 times 9 times 8. So he was off by 1 addition, right? And he did this at 6. So I'm freaking the fuck out because, oh shit, he gets numbers, right? The younger kid, he knows numbers because of Legos. You know what I mean?
right.
So when he says something like, oh, 3 times 2 is 6, it's because he's imagining the little pegs on the Lego pieces. That I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, I don't want to sound like that guy who's like, oh yeah, my kids are geniuses because they're dumb as shit when it comes to other things. But man, they're just like smart. But the thing is, like, what's crazy is that I thought the first one might be like into that kind of stuff. His middle name is Megatron. Did I tell you that?
No. You named your kid Megatron?
Like when he was first born.
Wow.
Yeah, his middle name, his legal middle name on his birth certificate is Wiley
Wow.
Megatron. Sure. And
Oh,
that wasn't even me.
Nice.
That was his mom. That was his
Nice.
mom's idea. And Ollie, the younger kid, like his middle name is Tyrannosaurus.
Mm.
He could not give two shits about dinosaurs. All he cares about is robots and and Decepticons and all that stuff. But the older kid, he's at the age where he's legit asking me, "Why did you name me after the bad guy?"
Mm.
So I've got
Damn.
that too. That's why I've got to continue.
Why did you name him after
Yeah.
that? Did you tell him?
But
Is there a
anyway.
reason? Anyways.
Megatron's a fucking dope ass name. That's why. But yeah, that didn't work for him.
All the bad
But
guys have
I love him to death.
Yeah. All the bad guys
I
should
love
have
him to
cooler
death. And
names.
yeah. I'm not saying it's for everyone, and I'm not saying that to be all douchebag, like parenting is only for strong. I'm not saying that. It's like I had to give up everything that I was. You know what I mean? But man, I'm way happier than I ever was. But at the same time, like I said, there is no selfish reason. Everything that I say, like, oh my God, they make me so happy. I know that ultimately all of it is selfish. So, yeah. Anyone out there who's like, I'm not having kids, I have so much respect for them.
Here, present.
I think only Courtney and myself don't have kids. Outside of
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't have kids, but Jerry left.
I think it's like, yeah.
Jerry doesn't have
And Flesh doesn't have kids. Does Flesh have kids?
No,
trying to
not
say,
that he
Bernard.
knows of.
We're overwhelmingly don't have children.
He doesn't have any kids.
I love being auntie though. I'm a
No,
great
Auntie is great. Auntie and Uncle mode, that's great because you can give the kids back.
Oh yeah. I can give them back, but I can also keep it real. So
Yeah.
like whenever the parents are like they're annoying me, then that's when I come in and like, what are you doing? It's a different
Yeah.
adult perspective. I think it's a undervalued part of a family. I mean, I'm just auntie to my friends' kids, so
D. Rogers has
there's
4
there's
kids.
that. What?
D. Rogers has 4
Ooh.
kids.
Oh,
4
wow.
beautiful
I
kids.
did not know that.
I see his Christmas. I get his Christmas
Ooh.
card every year. It's a beautiful family.
I appreciate
Wow.
it. People need to have children. I don't want to, so I need them to have kids.
You know,
instead of me.
like there are things that like when I was a baby, my father did not allow me to use a stroller. No, is that a stroller? No, like a walking thing. And then he
Mhm.
also like purposely made me cry. Meaning
Mm.
like he would like just let me cry, and then if I wasn't crying, he would like slap my butt or something, so that I would keep crying. And it would be like a practice routine.
Bernard, maybe you should seek therapy.
Oh, this is when I was a
Might be
baby.
good one.
Like my mother would like go to go grocery shopping, and then like one day she told me the story where the neighbor was like, you know, your son Bernard must miss you because, and she's like, why? She's like, because every time you leave the house and you go grocery shopping, he starts crying. We can hear him crying. And she's like, that's weird because like Bernard is like really like I was a very quiet baby. Like I hardly cried. So, so one day she went to grocery shopping, and then
You don't-
she went downstairs, and then she like hung out for a minute, and then came back up. And sure enough, like she heard that I was crying. She came in, and she's like, she sees my dad sitting in the living room with headphones on, listening to music, and I'm crying in the corner. And she's like, you know, why is he crying? You know, first of all, like, go attend to him because he's crying. And then second of all, why is he crying? He's like, well, look, I'm just trying to open his lungs up. So, and sure enough, like, when I was in my 20s playing basketball, I could run all day. I never got tired. So I do think there is some genius to that. So Mike, you gotta like slap your kids. Although it's too late now. I think that was when I was an infant. It's too late now. But I do think there are things that because I look back at my own youth, what was I doing? How did I gain certain skills in terms of drawing? What was I playing? Like, I would make the models and then I would like blow them up with firecrackers. But also just making the models and then playing with them or playing with toys. Really begin to see like the three-dimensionality of things and understand form. I don't know. I don't know if there's other tests what to do. Anyways, we're gonna delete.
I'm gonna
this,
be,
we're gonna delete the stream afterwards, anyway. So
Right. No, I'm gonna be like, I'm trying to make sure they don't grow up to be assholes more than anything at this stage.
as a genetic,
I think that's
you
the
have the
most,
right idea.
there's a genetic
yeah.
component to it. There's genes.
No, they're going to always have that proportion of assholery because I'm their dad.
The
But
higher propensity of likelihood of doing certain things.
yeah. I think, like, that stuff aside, like I have bipolar 2 disorder, so bipolar disorder 2, so that I'm pretty sure my dad had as well. So there's that kind of, not to get all dark and shit, but like, I think that's the stuff to watch out for, but also like stuff like, hey buddy, man, it's okay to cry, man. Like, it's okay to cry, let the feelings out, but just know the difference between, when you're mad and when you're frustrated, and when you're sad and when you're depressed, and, just keep that stuff like aware of it, aware that you're feeling it. It's okay to feel it. And then, process that shit and move on, like, as opposed to just bottling that shit like, I was taught to do like a real man,
Right.
But I think that's the stuff way more than I think that's the stuff like knowing how I grew up. I think the thing is that this is like a good age because I feel like I'm no longer young, so I don't have to get mired in the I'm having my youth taken away because I used up that shit a long time ago. But I'm still young enough to remember what I was like when I was a kid. And I think it really helps that I got 2 boys because I remember what it's like to be a boy. But I don't know. It just starts with like I genuinely feel like happy kids grow up to be happy grown-ups. So I think like I think that's the most important thing, that they know what makes them happy. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? More than like oh, you're gonna be good at something. Because I also want to be like, hey, if you're good at math but you don't give a shit about math and you want to go into arts or something like that, you should feel the freedom to do so. You know what I mean?
I think that's a good way of parenting. I mean, I hear more things from my friends who are going through either teenagers or, very young babies now. So it's really interesting to hear because they're, some of them are my age. I'm going to be 43 and they're type A personality. So I'm seeing that there should be a good middle between parenting. Like, if you try to force a child to do something, they're not going to want to do it. Like,
right.
It's not going to work out. They're actually going to rebel against it if you let them gravitate towards it. Because my friends want to raise their son to be an NBA player, and so they have him dunking. He's dunking on a regular size basketball. And but they're not forcing him to do it, like, So they're very happy about that.
How old is he?
You never know how it's going to change. He's 1 year old.
Oh, 1.
He's dunking on like a little Fisher Price thing, but it's very impressive.
Have you told him about the crying thing? Make him cry. So when he cries, his lungs expand.
He cries. He is definitely a mama's boy, so he cries. They're in Vegas. I visit them, and it is intense.
It does work because
Bernard, you should be
it expands
baby.
It expands the lungs, so it allows for more oxygen intake and endurance. Yeah, I used to
Good.
No,
I'm
Jack.
glad. I never heard that. My parents were pediatricians, but it's good to know.
Can I tell you, man? I'm getting anxiety. I only just realized that. Oh shoot! I can open up the Twitch thing because I just had to download the app, and I'm seeing like all these people like writing stuff, and I'm seeing you draw something. This is you, right, Bernard?
He's been drawing.
Yeah. No, I'm just seeing this just now. It's giving me anxiety because I what is it? I collect art. I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge fanboy. So what I do is I collect slabs, especially on sketch covers. So I do that, yeah, and the post-it notes. But I definitely when it comes to sketch covers, I do the whole thing where I put in a top loader and I cut a hole in the top loader so that the edges are protected, so it comes back a 9/8. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm
Wait,
so
what?
sorry.
What was that? You cut a hole in the.
So you think Bernard's abusing this?
I am. I'm like worried about him bending the spine.
I know. Well,
Yeah, careful, Bernard.
I mean,
This-
look at how often I've drawn like I mean, the paper itself is already creased from multiple. I erased the whole thing, Mike. I had like a
That
whole
hurts.
pencil drawing, finished almost.
Like, that's making my heart hurt, man.
So
and you
Golf
can't be a
Boys-
collector
huh?
and a creator at the same time.
Golf Boy
I think
Sunday.
I mean,
you
do
know
you-
what's funny?
uh,
What's funny is that like. Sorry, go ahead.
if you read the chat, like they're making fun of me because they're saying they're asking like, "Well, what am I drawing?" Golf Boy Sunday says I'm drawing a storm shadow, which alludes to the time where I was on stream drawing a storm shadow for like 3 or 4 hours because I couldn't get it right.
It was 5 hours.
Yeah, it was a
This
5-hour
is
stream.
normal.
I couldn't get to do one like bust. So
No, I think, Sean, was it you that said you can't be a collector and a creator?
I
I-
think so, yeah. I don't think you can.
But I absolutely am. I would say at this point, over 1,000 signed slabs. So it is wild when I'm asking like friends of mine to sign slabs. Like I've got I've got books for Bernard to sign. I've got Wolverines for you to sign, man. Like it's wild.
you better
Like,
get him
I-
signed now
and
before
here's the
Sean
thing.
blows up.
I think I think like so I don't know if I could do this if I wasn't such a fan of comic books. You know what I mean?
Isn't you like aren't you in the fine art space now? Yeah, you at least have 1 foot in fine art space, right?
Yeah, I got
So-
1 foot, I guess.
Right.
like,
So
I
you
don't-
can be a full-time fan because you're not a full-time comic book artist.
Well, I consider the fine art stuff just like tangential, like anything that I like. The fine art stuff is literally stuff that I really, really want to do for the sake of doing it, and sometimes it sells, sometimes it doesn't. It allows me to paint in a way that isn't really accepted in comic books, I guess. But I love comic books. I love comic books more than I like the fine art stuff, honestly. But like the fanboy stuff comes in because I'm just like I'm doing a Superman cover right now. I'm painting a Superman cover right now, and that's just like holy shit. It feels like I feel like it's late, so I don't know how else to put it, but I feel like a Make-A-Wish kid, like with my entire life, like. The
You've
fact
made
that
it.
I get to talk to, what's that?
You've made it.
No, here's the thing. Like, so I made this comment on social media that I showed like this little snippet of my 9.8 slab collection, and one of them is a Jim Lee sketch cover where he did the face of X-23, and he says to me in San Diego Comic Con, he's like, I didn't know you had that. Here, tell you what, man. you crack that thing, I will draw the claws because that's the way that you identify that it's X-23. Y'all know what X-23 is,
Yeah,
right?
that's the character you create.
So if you crack the slab, and the slab is a 9.8, if you crack it, just bring it to me and I'll draw the claws in there. And my ass is, there's no fucking way I'm gonna crack a 9.8 to get you to draw on it. But the thing is that my life is so weird in that I will wait in line for hours to get a Jim Lee signature on a X-Men 5 because that was the comic book that first got me into one of the first comic books that got me into American comics. I have no problem waiting in line for an hour to get Jim Lee to sign it, only for him to say when I see him, "What the fuck were you doing waiting in line for an hour? You're an idiot." You know what I mean? And then when I visit him, not even him, I went to the DC offices elevator like just this past week, and the elevator opened. This fucking Jim Lee there, and he goes, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me you were coming?" And I was like, "Why the fuck would I tell you that I was coming? You're Jim Lee." You know what I mean? So he's like, he goes to his assistant and is like, "Hey Doric, make sure that they leave with like fun shit because I got to go to a meeting and I can't talk to them." So we spent like half an hour in Jim Lee's office, my fucking kids reading their own comic books, probably Marvel comic books, in the office. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is my fucking life, that like I'm a huge Jim Lee fanboy and he's being nice to my kids. And he's saying that he's gonna sketch for free, and I'm turning that shit down because I'm a collector. But none of this, by the way, shows that I've made it in any way. I think I'm just living this weird. Y'all seen Total Recall, right? Do you remember the old Schwarzenegger Total Recall?
Yep.
Do you remember how like he says that he wants to stay in this really nice hotel? He wants to meet this girl that's like all of these characteristics. And it turns out he does all of this stuff, but unfortunately he's getting chased by these murderers who want to kill him, so he doesn't get to really enjoy any of it. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like my life is. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting to do all this amazing stuff, but because it's part of my life and deadlines and all this stuff, I don't really enjoy any of it. But honestly, I think the closest I've ever felt like, oh shit, maybe this is making it, is doing my own creator-owned thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that makes me think, I think this is what it means to make it. But who knows? I don't know. Sorry, I just named
think
dropped Jim Lee like a motherfucker back then.
There's a term for that. It's called imposter syndrome. I think you have imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you should be in that role, or where you don't feel certain equality between your peers. Maybe, I mean, you're cool with them. You're obviously know a lot of people, and as I think Jim Lee should also respect everybody. I don't think anybody should have a big enough head not to give respect to any of their fellow artists or fans. But that's just my opinion.
I see that.
I'm gonna.
Are you watching the Twitch right now?
Say that I know. What's that?
Are you watching the Twitch
the
stream right now?
X23 drawing that I'm looking at? The no claws thing is really a bad choice on Jim Lee's part, isn't it? I mean, what was he thinking? I mean, it's just a girl's face. So I don't know.
That's what he said. But Court, as to your previous point about imposter syndrome, I know I'm fucking awesome.
Good. I mean, I hope everybody
no.
thinks they're awesome, though. Like,
No.
I get what you mean too. Like, where you're just like, how'd I end up here? This is a weird place for me to be.
That right there.
Yeah.
That right there. It's like,
Yeah.
how did I get here? That I 100% feel that.
Although you deserve to be there, so I don't know. It's partially both.
Right, because I feel like I have worked a lot. I have worked very hard to be here with this intent to improve, but also I am like, how the hell did I get here? So absolutely agree with you that it is both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am somebody who's very full of themselves, so I get it.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering though is, I question your fandom random because in the choice between seeing the Superman movie or the Fantastic Four movie, you went and saw the dinosaur movie.
Oh, I haven't seen
Jurassic
any
Park?
of them. Yeah, Jurassic Park. Well, that's because like that's a very special franchise to me, you know. But I haven't seen any of them.
Sean,
I heard it's bad.
his son's name is Tyrannosaurus.
You say it's bad, but it's got dinosaurs in it, so how could it be bad?
I hope it's not
Well-
bad. That's a shame. But I heard it was.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm seeing these comments. 5 is a better cover. If you mean X-Men 5, yes, that is a better cover. It's the second appearance of Omega Red. 4 is more valuable, but 5 is a cooler cover. That's for sure.
That's a hardcore collector.
Okay. On that
Yeah.
on that note, I think we should probably get out of here. It's past
Yeah, thank you for having me.
past midnight. So, and thanks for jumping on, Mike.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to meet you, Court.
I'm gonna
You too.
delete the stream, so there won't be any.
You don't have to. It's fine. I don't. They'd have to make 2 leaps to get here, and it is what happened. But at the same time, it was kind of like she asked me very nicely if I could just get rid of all the stuff like from my Instagram, and I was just like, okay, fine.
Well, what I really
So,
wanted to do
anyway.
a roundabout way is we have the kid on chat right now.
This is the Sally Jesse Raphael show.
Kevin P. West.
Oh,
Scary
man.
Springer.
Kevin P. West.
Kevin P. West.
And some other.
K-pop junkie.
He's on.
Okay. All right. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for jumping on.
All right,
Man.
thank you guys.
Everybody,
Thank you.
thanks for watching on the stream tonight. Mike, you can
Thank you
always
very
you can
much,
always
guys.
jump on anytime, every Tuesday. If you wanna shoot the shit
Okay.
about anything, if you wanna draw, we're gonna try to do this art battle too. Sean wants the art fight.
Art fight.
Oh, that's cool.
Look it up.
For the first time.
So, all right,
right.
I'm gonna rate somebody, and then we're gonna get out of here. Who should we rate?
Okay.
James Quo. Thanks again, Mike. I'll catch you later.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's great catching up.
Bye.
James Quo. Anybody we should raid? Amaranth. Sean.
Yep.
What's this?
Titties.
It's usually. Ooh, this is actually a nice drawing. It looks like a nice drawing here. Chuck
I like the one you raised.
Chuck Dudden. Chuck. This looks actually pretty good. Oh, I'm following them.
Oh, cool. Chuck P.
It's 18. Chuck Uden.
Hmm.
There's the
Mm.
manga. Let me see.
Manga. Okay.
Here's another one. Buffy the Sway Art. I'm following Sway Art. We've read them before. Sway Art is drawing a Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, I love her.
Who else? Amaranth is in a hot tub
Oh, is she?
with 2 other girls.
Raid.
That's my lady. What?
Raid.
I wasn't invited. Is she really?
Yeah, she's in a hot tub with 2 other girls. All right, chat. Who do you want me to
I thought
rate?
they stopped doing that.
James has no raid. 'Cause
Oh, okay. All right. Let me
He's
just
busy.
raid Chuck Uden.
Sure.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. Stay safe. Catch you guys later.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
It's still gearing up. You know, everyone's gonna switch over to Amaranth after they raid. I know.
I mean, I am.
Okay. Are we over at